Welcome back, everyone, to Red Spotlight Entertainment. I'm Alexis, and I'm joined here today by my very good friends, although if you listen to the history of this show, sometimes it doesn't feel that way or it come across that way at all through the various insults and put-downs and just flat-out mean-spirited commentary that is really... And to be fair, sometimes it's just me, but for the most part,
it's very one-sided
on this. Yes, for sure. But and as far as one-sided, as far as the attacks are concerned, not the way that you meant it, where you probably were trying to think that I was the one that was hurling insults at every person who has ever graced this wonderful podcast. Obviously, despite all of that animosity, we're all here, and yes, I consider us to be friends. This is, of course, the show that brings you everything coming out of the world of movies and more since the year 2014, where all of us were much more everything than we are right now, including hopeful and optimism and just plain old-fashioned being excited about the state of things and where we're going. That no longer happens to be the case, obviously, but no matter the fact, here we are. Of course, our first broadcast originally was on September 2014. We're not quite to that point just yet. In September, I think we might have to do something a little bit differently. We'll see about that. But today is going to be our 500th episode.
Boo.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we have a special guest host.
Yes, we do.
The original host is returning. He said he could not miss the 500 special. Welcome on, Mr. Kyle Lira.
Kyle, I'm so happy you're able to join us today.
I
Kyle?
forgot. No, wait, I forgot. He doesn't care.
Oh, okay. Oh, I legitimately thought you were gonna bring him on here because I'm like, he should be here, right?
No.
Okay. No, I mean, for real, though, he should be here. It is the show that he created. Gave it the name, the whole premise. Literally, none of us would be here if it wasn't for him. So, it's not like he doesn't know that it's happening. The communication was definitely delivered, although I expect he probably has more important things to do since he's currently off celebrating, because today happens to be March 15th, the Ides of March, and he's currently celebrating his 30th birthday.
But see, isn't it perfectly aligned? I don't know.
I mean, I think that a case can be made. Yes, it does perfectly align.
Yeah, Ides of March.
But I think Kyle would rather spend his time
you stabbed
with
him in the back.
I'm sorry, I got thrown off by the lights turning off behind you. I think Kyle would prefer to spend his time with better
Anyone
company.
Else?
I mean, hey, maybe. I mean, your guess is as good as mine, right? I can't say one way or the other, but needless to say, he's not here, so that's disappointing, obviously, because he definitely has made it a point to appear in every previous milestone installment, of course. Kyle Lira, literally, it was his decision to bring you on, Peter, even though I had to basically talk him into letting you on because he wasn't necessarily thrilled with the idea of you being on the podcast. He was very picky those days, and I'm not sure if he knew what would happen. He would make the same decision now. David, I think, was also a really interesting one. Of course, we've discussed it. If you want to hear episode 300, we go into all of that. But David was basically a listener. Then he came on. I mean, listener, but also an extension of a friend. I mean, Alexis Moreno, who, by the way, also mysteriously is not here at the moment. I wonder if she'll drop by later on. David, can you remind me, did you tell me that she had more important things to do too?
Yeah.
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 These were last minute plans too, by the way. It's like...
There's so much I could say there.
Don't cover for them.
Last minute plans for us, you mean? For us or for her?
For her.
Because our plans were very last minute. We didn't plan this until about 24 hours ago that we're going to actually record right now.
Oh yeah, hers is I don't know, 2 days ago or something like that. So
okay, so All right. Man, I really need to hold my tongue here. I mean, it's just like I'll just say she's not here, and I don't think she's going to be here. But we also want to take this time to thank her for all of the dedication, time that she has put into this show. I think some of my favorite shows in the last couple of years, especially, have been when it's just her and I, because we can get some attitude or people who are just intentionally throwing derogatory comments to spice up conversation in quotation marks, although that, you know, sometimes leads to entertainment of its own, and we can't discredit that. You know, that's why Peter's here today.
I think that's misconstruing my actions, but okay.
Well, you're going to have the opportunity to clarify. So, you know, in fairness to you, but I just, and she knows this, like, you know, we kid all the time. I mean, she's 1,000 and a million years old at this point, but clearly I think she brings a different energy to the shows. I've always enjoyed her authenticity, and yeah, anytime we can get her to come on, it's actually kind of a luxury, because as those who know her the best would tell you, she rarely has a weekend free. This weekend included. So there is that. And yeah, that's just where we are these days. And of course, as far as today's show is concerned, we've got some pretty big hitters coming your way. We got 2 movie reviews on some pretty big films. One, which happens to come from Bong Joon Ho, which is the director of the Best Picture winning Parasite, as well as many other acclaimed films, not the least of which include Snowpiercer or Okja, of course. Mickey 17 is the film in question, with Robert Pattinson starring in it. And then, of course, we also have is now the Best Picture reigning champion of the year, Anora, by Sean Baker. And of course, we're going to go ahead and bring to you our thoughts on the recent Academy Awards. Peter and I had the opportunity to actually watch that together. This is the first time I think we've watched an Academy Awards in 5 years. No, probably 4 years. And we'll talk about more of that in a few minutes, but I'm reminded now why that was. Why that was the case. I'll say it used to be a lot more fun. The first time we ever watched it together, we actually filmed ourselves, and we put that on YouTube as like a reactions to the winners. That was fun. But that was when Peter was actually watching the fucking show. What happened this time would be a different situation. It was a different situation, and we'll get to that in a few short minutes.
I just need you to hear you say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Ask and you shall receive. Anyway, there's a lot to obviously go over, but I wanted to open the floor up for anyone that actually wanted to bring a interesting news item or just like conversation that you've been itching to have. I actually have like 2 that I have ready to go. In fact, the first thing I want to say is this. One of the things that I have noticed about myself in the last 10 years is how much less of a fuck that I give about movie trailers, for a lot of reasons. And one would even argue that I didn't give 2 shits about them to begin with. But lately, it has been horrendous. And I want to say that post-COVID, when the movies came back, Peter and I watched a lot of movies together. And in the last year, I've basically showed up to movies late. Maybe I would catch a trailer or 2 before the actual movie would start, because I have had it up to here with just having to be forced. It feels like I've been held hostage to trailers of movies that I have no intention whatsoever of ever watching for most of the year. And where we live, they seem to particularly, it feels personal at this point. It feels like they know exactly the wrong trailers to show. Because we just, every time we sit through trailers for any of the films that we watch, you and I, you can attest to this yourself, Peter, we just feel so depleted of energy and life but this last time, because yesterday we went to go watch the new Looney Tunes film, The Day the Earth Blew Up, with Porky Pig and Daffy Duck, which we'll more on that in a bit, obviously. But by the time we got to the film starting, you and I were just flat out furious. Like this was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, last year it was Dune Part 2, or I should say even the last year and a half, because the Dune Part 2 trailer, like I would say, came out toward August, September time of 2023. But again, that trailer was amazing, and we never we saw it like once or twice before the movie even
like
came out
a week
in March.
before the movie.
And it came out about a little over a year ago this time.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was one of the biggest successes of the whole year. That trailer didn't really register in this area whatsoever. Similarly, what's going on here, 2 months ago we did a show where we reviewed Queer and Nosferatu. We literally stopped our Nosferatu review. We love Nosferatu, but we had to like stop it in the middle of it because we didn't realize that we had not had an opportunity to talk about the Superman trailer, which is one of the best, most exciting trailers we've seen in a very, 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 very long time. And of course, because we voice our enthusiasm out into the universe, what happens? To this day, we are recording this on March 15th, 2025. That trailer came out in late December. We have not been able to see that trailer one time.
In the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, how many times have we been to the movies? I'm gonna.
You've definitely done it more than me.
I mean, the Day the Earth Blew Up, Mickey 17, Companion. Okay, each of those was like one individual time. 3 times for The Brutalist.
2 of those were Warner Brothers films, by the way.
Right. No, in this case, thumbs down. What are you doing? Thumbs down. Yes,
thumbs?
it was Mickey 17 and the Looney Tunes were Warner Brothers films. No Superman trailer, but of course they played a fucking Snow White trailer, which we'll get to. No, thumbs down. What are you doing? We're not doing a thumbs up for that. Okay, so we have 3 Brutalist, 3 for Nosferatu, probably Queer. I can't count because I don't think the trailer came out by that point. I saw A Complete Unknown in theaters. That's 10 times. Some fireworks in the background. There's just a gunshot that just blew up behind me. So 10 times. Let's just say, to be fair, 10 times. I'm pretty sure I'm missing something here or there. But anyway. Oh yeah, I am missing one. Captain America. I forgot we watched that movie.
Oh my god, we did see that movie.
And it was the last time that we did a podcast that we actually did a review for it. So so let's just say 11 times, and not once have I seen that. But I mean, ask me how many times I've seen the Wolfman trailer. How many times I've seen the trailer with fucking Mark Wahlberg in a bad wig. How many times I've seen the trailer for like Minecraft, or just useless shit that you can tell is going to be awful. Peter, I'll give the floor over to you because you are equally as pissed, if not more, than I am.
Well, the difference between me and you is I like trailers. There used to be a point where my favorite part of going to the movie theaters was seeing the trailers. Like, my whole thing was like, the movie's probably going to be okay. But those trailers, though, I can't wait to see those on the big screen and stuff like that. Not anymore. Like, I get why people are like, movies are shit now. Because, if you go to the movie theater and that's what's being advertised directly to you, I'd feel the same way. Like, there's no good movies anymore. Because we couldn't get the Superman trailer, but don't worry, we got an animated sneaker movie.
I forgot about that.
And an animated movie where Charles Dickens teaches you about Jesus Christ.
Those are the trailers that we got. We also remember. I think it was a few months back. We were getting trailers to a Pharrell Williams biopic Lego movie, which had since already come out, and I already saw on Blu-ray on the shelves at Walmart. And I'm like, when did that come out? Mm-hmm. I mean, thank God that it did, but that was just random shit. Like, they made a movie about this? It feels like we're getting a lot more of that sentiment these days.
And then also, that Flight Risk movie, which I'm sure it didn't make that much money, but god damn, that trailer was everywhere.
Yeah.
And we still joke about to this day the fucking Gran Turismo endless endless trailers for Gran Turismo. And yeah, I can't think of like a single trailer that they played where I'm like, oh hell yeah, like I can't, oh like check this out, cool trailer, fun trailer, this will be great. Not one.
We got Thunderbolts trailers, like I think every time we've been in the last couple of
we got
weeks.
a shit ton of Thunderbolts.
Snow White.
I haven't gotten Snow White actually in theaters.
We were lucky. I had it
At a Warner Brothers movie yesterday. It was the fucking Looney Tunes. They decided to play the Snow White trailer.
I did see the Thunderbolts A24 style trailer for the first time in theaters.
No, that's not the one that we got. We got the old one.
What's insane though is I was like, oh, for sure we're gonna get the Superman trailer. It's Superman, kids' ultimate superhero. We're watching Warner Brothers The Looney Tunes. I'm like, we gotta watch a trailer about sneakers. And don't worry, the sneakers talk. Just a lot of animated garbage. None of it looks good. I'm trying to think, what other trailers do we get?
Minecraft,
endless Minecraft trailers.
The Bad Guys.
The Bad Guys. The first one was nice, but it's like that would be on the low end of like a good trailer experience, you know?
I think I would have lost my shit, by the way. There's a reason I haven't seen as many trailers in recent years, because there's just, quite frankly, in my view, not as many good ones as there used to be. And this last week was no exception. And I'm going to tie this into what we're talking about right now. I feel like I would have walked out if they played that damn Lilo and Stitch trailer, which I have not seen and I will not see.
Don't worry. I guarantee you that shit is going to bombard us like crazy. They're going to play it so much here. They're going to play it so much. It's going to get the same play as like every other fucking Disney movie here.
Pause on that one. I just realized the other one we've gotten a lot was the How to Train Your Dragon one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, like 90% of the ones that we've named, they're not just like, kind of not a great trailer. They actively make me want to vomit. Like, it's like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate this. I hate that
I hate everything about this. It just feels so fundamentally gross and evil. That's why it's even worse than it was. I'll go back to Lilo and Stitch. David, you wanted to say something.
I was going to say, if you guys have seen the Death of a Unicorn trailer one.
We did catch that one time. I think we caught it with Companion.
Nice.
Is it the one with, is that the...
Paul Rudd and...
what's her name?
From Beetlejuice.
Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd, yeah. You have seen it. If we describe it, you'll remember it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Death of a Unicorn.
Okay. We've seen the new Coogler movie trailer 2 times, so there's that.
The thing is, see, that's one where it's like, I don't mind seeing it.
No, because it's an actual movie.
It looks like a real movie. It looks fun. It's a well-made trailer, so I'm like, okay. But to me, there used to be like 5 type Sinners movie trailers, right? Where it's like, oh, this is cool. Like, nothing like that anymore.
So, tying this into the 500 thing, and since we've been doing this since 2014, 500 shows, what are some of your favorite trailers in the last couple of the last decade that stick out to your mind? I mean, for me, I know that there's the obvious Star Wars ones, and I have particular memories of those. I know the one that I think I was a little bit more amped up for the Last Jedi trailer, because I was actually recording my reaction to that with Alexis and Nettie, which I think turned out to be the last time the 3 of us were in the same room together. Hilariously enough, but we all watched the trailer and we were. No, they didn't kill that. But we watched the trailer together and we were all like so excited over it. Yeah, so it was very nice, that one. That's one that sticks out to me. You guys?
Dune 2 trailer 3, which was the last trailer. The one that's
a great one
that we saw in theaters. The Batman.
Oh yeah.
That was a great trailer. Really, really well done.
Well, the funny one is, even though the movie, there's been some great trailers to not so great movies. Like, remember what a big event the first Suicide Squad trailer was.
Yeah.
With what was the song Bohemian Rhapsody attached to it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that trailer completely changed the trajectory of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that, yeah. Superman trailer's great. I'm trying to think of like.
It's hard for me to remember trailers, honestly. I remember the ones that I'm like, I saw it, I liked it, but the movie was really disappointing. The first one that pops up, Wonder Woman 84. I really liked the trailer for that one because you remember,
I don't remember the trailer for that.
They was using that one song. I don't know what it was called, but like it was mixing in with a certain song and all that, but like it was just with the theme, like the main Wonder Woman theme and all that. Like, they mixed it really well, and that's why I really liked it.
I'm trying to think of trailers where it's like, oh man, I love that trailer.
Well, they're I think a different kind of love, but for sure we were all amped up for Infinity War and Endgame trailers back in the day. Those were pretty big events. Those are fun. Even Marvel used to make like much better trailers too in that department. Like I remember when Ragnarok hit, we were all like, "What? What's this gonna be?" That was fun. It's hard in the moment to think about, some of those trailers. I can just like think about looking around some of the movies that I can see here, and not too many stick out to my mind that I can recall about a trailer.
Yeah, there's a handful. Because to me, the reason why I like trailers, I think trailers are an art form into themselves.
Of course, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're advertising, yeah.
Suicide Squad showed you. I mean, that was a work of art, that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they tell their own story, really.
Wakanda Forever? I mean, I remember people really, like, amazed by that trailer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the
the
Oscar
first
clip
ever
was
trailer
in that
to
trailer.
get nominated.
Yes,
nominated for
I mean that
actress.
They put the clip in there, and not for nothing, she almost won. Angela Bassett, she almost won that Oscar.
A lot of people think she should have won.
Yeah. Well, I hot take. I think Jamie Lee Curtis's performance in that movie gets way too much hate. I thought she was great in the movie. It's a small role, but I thought she is great. Now, is it award worthy? That's a separate conversation. But I feel that there are worse performances that have been awarded. So.
I also think the entirety of the performance that they reward is just every line that she said in the trailer, and like that's it. Like, how I feel about Black Panther in general, and when it comes to awards,
yeah, exactly.
Like,
so like that's the thing. It's like even
people kind of overdo it every time.
I agree with you, and I felt the same way. Quite frankly, that year, if Michelle Williams had not been stupid, she would have won in a cakewalk, but she ejected herself into a category she had no chance in. And with that being out of the way, it probably should have gone to Carrie Condon from The Banshees of Inisherin, because she was amazing in that movie, honestly.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Although it would have been hilarious if Cate Blanchett was like, you know what, I'm supporting. Fuck it, we're going to go there. And then she would have won.
No one would have believed it. No one would have bought that.
Yeah, but the whole world bought Kieran Culkin going and supporting, even though he's the damn lead of that movie, and he just won an Oscar. So there's that.
You could say,
but of course it's more. Yeah, I guess it would have been far more egregious if it was Cate Blanchett doing that. Yeah.
Fury Road trailer is.
Oh yeah, that's
great.
A great
trailer.
Especially when you get the title of it and all that. I fucking love the music playing in that moment. I'm just like, oh, can I just hear that like all the time?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these are a lot of trailers are art the Barbie trailer. I think the Barbie trailer.
Oh yes, that was a big one. Yeah,
really sold it. I think that's a really, really big one. I'm just looking through all the movies.
I know.
I've watched. Yeah, that was that one for sure. Now that you mention it, that one for sure sticks out. The Barbie one. Yeah, but you never quite can be sure of one way or the other. Anyway, the Superman trailer is incredible, and I 11 times, 0 times have I gotten that trailer. David, have you seen it in theaters?
I have not. For sure, I have not.
But have you gone to the movie?
No, yeah,
He has.
I saw Mickey 17, Companion, Novocaine.
Oh, you saw Novocaine?
Yeah, I saw it. And then what else did I watch? I can't remember. What else?
You saw The Brutalist. You saw Nickel Boys. You saw Nosferatu. You saw Queer. Yeah, those are the recent ones.
Yeah.
Anora.
Nosferatu, yeah. I haven't gotten that Superman trailer at all. And like I said, too, I also didn't get the Snow White trailer, honestly. Here, at least. What I'm getting a lot, The Accountant 2, Amateur, Flight
I have not
Risk.
seen that trailer play here at all, The Accountant. I forgot that even exists, The Accountant 2. They played that new Soderbergh movie several times, the trailer anyway, which I hear is pretty good.
Yeah, it's gotten really good reviews. That black, it's like Black Hand. It's something like that, isn't it? It looks very adult spy thriller.
The Black Bag, you mean?
The Black Bag.
Yeah. And then I saw the Until Dawn trailer for the first time. Which I was like,
oh yeah. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I had no idea what that game was really about. And
oh, you ever played that game?
I haven't, no.
It's a horror game. It's one of those like decisions games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the story plays out and then you make decisions for the characters and that sort of influences how the story turns out. Blah, 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 blah. Mm. So I think the way that they're trying to incorporate that into a movie setting is just this idea that like the characters themselves have to make different decisions to try and survive the night, like a time travel type thing.
Yeah, and I really like it too because it's, it's the what's the genre called?
Horror?
No, like the type where they're reliving the same day.
Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day, yeah, type of situation, but like every day is different, and I really like that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You have like a whole lot more to play with, so that's really interesting. And that's actually something Sergio recommended me and Ale play, just to see like how it goes and all that. So I think we want to do that one day.
Well, it's just I wanted to voice just the frustration that we felt yesterday. I mean, you should have seen it, David. We were just like in unison, just like groaning over just like another freaking useless trailer that we're not gonna go and actually watch. The thing is, this also really just matches a lot with last year. I was thinking earlier today how at one point we were gonna try and do for the 500th, we were gonna try and do our top 10 of 2023 and 2024 all combined. I don't know how that was going to happen because it was way too freaking much. But that was our hope anyway. And I was thinking to myself, there was a lot of great movies that I liked from last year a lot. But last year I also had, I think, a rekindling of films that I had not seen for a very long time for the first time over again, or just for the first time in general, that, I kind of expanded my movie-loving heart more than what was... I think that should tell you just how little was being offered, that I literally had to go back and watch some older ones for sure. Anyway, my other frustration that I want to point out to you, and Peter, you have not had the opportunity to actually voice any feeling whatsoever about this topic. We have in the past. It concerns one Rachel Zegler.
You hate her. You hate women.
Yeah, sure. No, obviously not. She is, I think, a generational talent. As usual, of course, Spielberg has a knack for just plucking just endlessly talented people. And I think she honestly was robbed of a nomination at the Academy Awards for West Side Story because that was an incredible, one of the best debuts, I think, ever. Just quite frankly, putting it out there. I'll even say that she was better than Ariana and Cynthia in Wicked. I'm going to say that. I mean, West Side Story was a far better film than Wicked, and I don't think anybody would actually, disagree with that. Of course, if it was a far bigger hit, and as the Academy Awards have shown...
You realize you're going to have a bomb mailed to your address now, right?
Do they even know my email? And if they'll
find it.
Mail away. Mail away. You can type in all you want, as if, but I don't care. Anyway, with Rachel Zegler, she's been bombarded with endless quote unquote controversies. We talked about how in December we were all outraged how fucking disgusting Variety has become and how they've kind of treated her, especially more than the other publications, as a goddamn punching bag. And now, today I was reading something that really made me so just furious with Gal Gadot, like, kind of reportedly being annoyed at the controversies. It's Gal Gadot. She's the one that should be drawing the controversy, and yet everybody seems to agree. Yeah, that Rachel Zegler. She's the problem. Go ahead.
I saw you shared it. That is not a real news source. I would not trust that news source at all. In fact, I fucking hate news sources.
But do you dispute the fact that Gal Gadot, if anyone, should be drawing more controversy, like, because of who she is and what she has said? I mean, it's like, I think it's just rich to me how Rachel Zegler is being equated to her. Like, they're not the same. They're not the same at all.
There is, and we've actually talked about this a lot. There's a industry. It's an industry because it's about making money. There's an industry that exists to sort of prop up and target certain female actresses as like a punching bag for incels and losers and assholes, right? They did it to Brie Larson because she gave one speech years ago where she was like, hey, maybe people reviewing films, I'd like a more variety in the people reviewing films, because not one film is for everyone, and I want the audience that the film is sort of made for, I want to hear what they have to say about it, more so than the same voice every time. Like, I think anyone would agree with something like that, but it's insane the level to which she's been propped up as a punching bag for losers on the internet to hate, to where you go to some of these YouTube channels, there's hundreds and hundreds of videos about her that are just lies and bullshit, and they know it's bullshit and lies, and they just make shit up.
And to be clear, for those of you who are watching, listening, you mean the go woke, go broke crowd. They're the ones who...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
at that point when they started, it was like social justice warrior. Now it's going woke, and now woke is a mainstream thing.
They have the same anger for the same thing, but they change the words around to make it pretend like it's not. But they did the same thing to Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler, I think, once just said something along the lines, I think it was during the strikes, where she's like, yeah, like, we should be able to be paid fairly, blah 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 blah. Like, I don't think she's ever done or really said anything controversial ever in her life. She's literally just a normal human being.
People had issues with, and I don't think from a justified place, but I remember people had concerns when she made comments about her opinion of the legacy of Snow White and what they were trying to do with her adaptation. And I will say, before we even touch that, I think all of the problems in concern... I'm sorry, go ahead, Peter.
No,
pop up. Go ahead.
I'm remembering now. Like, during an interview, she was just like, oh my god, when I was a kid, I was scared of Snow White. Like she said something, and yeah, the movie can be pretty fucking scary, especially in the beginning, right? And I remember all these YouTube channels took that and contorted it to, like, she hates Snow White, and she hates the fans, and and again, just creating this boogeyman with which they can spew and put all their energy and all their hatred and what it is, like sexism, into throwing it at one person. It's really fucked up. And I think that's also why, because we used to be a lot more interested in, like, movie news and stuff like that. So much of these YouTube channels that cover film and even just adjacent, like, nerdy shit has really been corrupted by these kinds of types. Why? Because it makes money. It gets views. So it's a lot lamer, not as fun. But yeah, that's something. I guess what makes me mad, it's like they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Not really. Other than just like not buy into their bullshit. And I guess that's what gets me mad when I see like mainstream news outlets and people that should know better sort of buying into the narrative, right? I'll see people, like you said, like, oh, Rachel Zegler and her controversies. They never say specifically what those controversies are, but they'll just say like controversies because they want, I don't know, I guess they want clicks too. But yeah, I hate that shit.
No, go ahead, David. And also, can you remind us what exactly did she even say about Snow White?
I mean, I've only ever seen clips of it. I've never seen like the entire interview, so I gotta for sure do that. Although I've mentioned before, I have no interest. When it comes to this movie specifically, like I just don't care what any of the actresses have to say because it's not going to be a good movie. Whatever changes they say that's going to happen, I don't believe them because if you saw Little Mermaid, if you saw Lion King, it's basically one-to-one the exact thing.
David, guess what? The social media reactions for the movie just dropped right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
What?
They did.
For Snow White?
Yes.
And let me guess. Oh my God, it's great! It's such a great update on the classic tale. Had such a good time. Rachel Zegler was actually a wonderful updated version of Snow White. Disney has done it yet again. Let me go ahead and get some of that sweet, sweet Disney money because I don't mean a word of it. I'm just here because I got invited and I'm going to give a positive review. Is that what they said?
Holy shit. You were at the premiere? You saw the movie? No, but just to add what David's saying, that's what also makes it frustrating and just kind of makes it like no fun to even like wade into the pool or just because it's like it's hard to have these arguments because it's like, yeah, I think the movie looks like shit. I don't want the movie to exist.
Yeah,
I think it looks bad, and that's like every movie though, right? All of these big movies, especially all the ones from Disney. Every live action bullshit, whatever. So, but then you add in all this like weird political anger behind it that's being weaponized.
And which kind though?
Man, it's just a cancer.
You can say that there are legitimate controversies with the film, which is like the whole making of it in the first place, and the decision they did with the dwarves. That's legitimate controversy.
I mean, that's just the whole. That's the whole thing, though. It's like I can believe that, like what she said in those interviews can, like, you know, take people out of the movie. But like, I hate that they're really pointing it at her. That's like, oh, she's gonna be the reason why it fails, and it's like that's not it. Like that, I can believe you. Maybe they lose a couple $1,000s because of it, but it's also because they fucked up on the making of it. It looks horrible. They don't really care. You know, they keep saying like, oh, they should honor the source material and all that. They've creators themselves don't really honor it that much because it looks horrible visually, I mean, but then also we'll see how it is story wise and all that. And it's just like it's hard to defend her because we're also bashing everything else about it and all that, and it's just it sucks that she's in the middle of it.
There is one bright spot in that I think through just sheer will, Rachel Zegler persists. Like, she just keeps trucking on. And I think what helps her is that she's had, at this point, it would have been a lot worse if she's had nothing but flops. But she legitimately had a hit with Hunger Games. So she has that going for her. And I think what's also going in her favor is that she was gifted an incredible song that she's being allowed to promote. Like, she's gone to different places and actually performed the song. And people are actually being able to see, oh no, she's very talented. Yeah. Like, and I think it'll stick in some important people's minds that this is somebody who we can't let go for right now. Like, she is legitimately freaking talented and a powerhouse. And that song that she got with "Waiting on a Wish," people are like, God. And then of course the stupid idiots go on TikTok and they like leave these comments like, but that's not Snow White. Snow White doesn't belt. Snow White is more of like a 1930. This goes back to the same problem. You can't change anything, can't you? You can't change a goddamn thing. Do you not know what an adaptation is? Damn it!
There's plenty of movies that they like that will make all the change. It's the discussion we had. Remember with Star Wars, when all the like little nitpicks when we're discussing like The Last Jedi and stuff, and it's like, okay, here's all these other Star Wars things that you like. They have the exact same issues. And then it's like, oh no, but those are good. And it's like, okay. So clearly these little issues here and there aren't like the heart of it, right? Like that's not an issue for you. So why don't you try to talk about what's really the issue? And it's the same thing here. Only the difference is I think most of these people are like really bad actors. I think they come in with a political agenda to hate a film. And depending on how well the film does or doesn't, then they'll change their tune, right? Like we've seen there's a lot of films where they're like, oh, look, it's going to be woke garbage. It's going to be crap, clearly, da-da-da-da-da. And then it comes out and it makes a lot of money or people really like it. And all of a sudden they completely change their tune. Speaking of Barbie, they really did that with Barbie.
And by the way, it's as a brief aside, it's not just Barbie. I mean, you can name a couple of big hitters in the last couple of years that were quote unquote woke and were big, like Across the Spider-Verse, the Super Mario Brothers movie. I mean, the Guardians movie was like legit, like all over the place with woke and woke here, woke there, woke everywhere. It's like. And yet Disney was like, actually, you know what? Woke is the problem, even though it's not. And we actually don't want to change our process of making movies. And we're going to become more corporate and more evil. Yay. And we're going to use the right-wing fascists to provide cover for us.
Well, it's like, it's capitalism. It's what we've always said. Yes. Anything that they do, it's because they think it'll help their bottom line. As a company, if they thought it would increase their revenue, they would sell out Jews to Hitler. Like, I guess what? There's a lot of companies that survived Nazi Germany that still exist today and are very, very big. Think about why they're still here. You know, like it's not. They're at the end of the day, they care about the bottom line, making money. What is good for the company. So when it looked like being more woke would help them make more money and, you know, be good for their bottom line, they're happy to oblige. When Trump won a second term and it looks like actually we're going backwards, that's when they're like, oh, okay, let's back up in some of the things that we've talked about, our initiatives. Let's remove entire
Which, by the way, doesn't
it
feel very disingenuous to say, because every corporate power and literally everybody is acting as if that was a blowout election.
No, that's
the reality is it was a close election. It was a squeaker. I mean, obviously the candidate that lost was a miserable failure, and we know a million reasons why she lost. And from that standpoint, it is a miserable, catastrophic defeat. But in general, if you look at the numbers, it's not a blowout election.
No, it's not. But that's why it's going to be very interesting going forward. Like, I think a lot of people went very hard in the opposite direction the second Trump won, and they're going to have sort of a rude awakening as time goes on.
I'm trying to really they're going to
slowly shimmy back to where they were.
That's the thing, is like we're in 2025 and I'm trying to think of the long-term ramifications of, well, quite frankly, everything. But this particular turn in the entertainment industry to ally themselves with the right, and it's so hard while they spent a decade in the other direction, is just like a really eye-popping, eye-opening moment. Yeah, and it's in 4 years down the line, there may be a hard swing in the other direction, and now it's like, well, what's gonna happen? Like, these people they've shown their whole ass.
See, that's the thing. It's something that we and you and a lot of people have always known, right? It's like corporate allyship. Like, it's not fucking real. Like, it's all about bottom line. it's one thing to sort of like know that. It's another thing to see that shit in real time. That switch up, you know,
is a defining moment at the inauguration that he had 3 billionaires behind him.
Yeah.
That was history. That's gonna be a moment where we look back and like, like what just happened? I mean, and I don't know. And at that point, why wasn't Bob Iger there? He should have been there with how he's been acting. He should have been there.
He wasn't there.
No,
I'm genuinely surprised. I thought that would okay. All his other buddies were there. So
David Zaslav for sure should have been there because he's actually a Trump supporter. So I mean, I'm surprised he wasn't there.
What, was he not there?
No, I don't think he was. It was just
because he's openly Trump.
It was Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Musk, which of course Musk is the real president, or I guess the shadow president. That's a different situation, different podcast. We don't want to get into that, but it's funny, just the landscape and where we are with that and everything and Snow White. And I'll just say this, like I'm hopeful for Rachel Zegler, but I think all of us are very much assured in the fact that this movie will be crap because they all have been crap. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like, and the sad thing is like people are they're not getting it through them. And a few weeks ago, we had an episode called "No One Mourns the Death of Movie Literacy" or Media Literacy, because that's where we are. We're just, it feels like we're in the middle of a de-evolution, and it's like the idiots have literally taken over in everything, and like we can't have a goddamn conversation that means anything or of any kind of substance. So, yeah, because you know, and maybe I don't know. Is it better that Snow White? What happens if Snow White actually makes money? Are they going to actually like turn it around and say, Rachel Zegler, yay for you?
No, they'll just
say it's going to be nostalgia or something like that. It's like, oh, people saw it because, you know, there's still some Disney fans out there that like the music, they like the nostalgia or something like that.
Most of the time, they don't even cover their ass. They just immediately switch up to the next thing. Mm-hmm. There's never any sort of reckoning with like, I was wrong with my opinions. It's just an immediate switch up. So but it's from people that mostly know what they're doing. Like
right.
It's not idiots. I think especially the big channels that make the big bucks, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Peter.
I guess I was referring more to just normal people. I think the people who are leading. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. The people who are leading the charge of this go well, go broke, those people are not dumb. They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And happily so. They're making money and they're doing it for themselves. But the people who follow them, I just saw a clip from last year, assuredly, of someone basically starting off with like, so why do you care about low-income people so much? There was a clip I sent you, Peter, yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know if you watched it, and I
did
was
watch
legitimately.
It, I actually watched the shit you said.
I was legitimately like stumped, and then of course when they were just lightly pressed on it, they were like a fish floating up in the water, just like they weren't even there when we got a little bit of pushback and clarification on what reality is.
For anyone listening, all 0 of you, the reason why you want to care about poor individuals that have nothing to do with you. The reason why their fate matters is because one, many of the people that claim not to care also claim to be Christians. And I would posit, I don't know how you have those two ideas in your head. That's something... I don't know, read the Bible.
Just to pause you real quick, Peter. David, I don't know if you've been aware of this, but like this last week, I feel, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, but I feel like there was a kind of a big, a shift in a lot of reasons, but I don't want to gear too much into the politics of the politicians. But on TV, Sam Cedar, who has worked in Hollywood, you know, he's now like a YouTube radio show host. He went on a show called. Yes, he does a voice on Bob's Burgers.
Playing right now.
Yeah. Oh, of course, because Bob's Burgers is great. And the movie, by the way, which didn't get enough love, is great too. Yeah. He made an appearance on the, well, I don't know what you want to call it,
Jubilee?
Debate show, Jubilee.
Yeah, it's a debate show.
It was a big internet moment. I don't want to make it a big conversational piece, but I think it's part of where we're at in this moment of just like this, like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I don't. So, what I said previously, number one, most of the people have an issue with Christian. It's like, figure that out. I don't know how you can have those two beliefs in your head at the same time. And number two, we live in a society, as our dear friend the Joker likes to say.
Not that.
And
David, have you seen Joker Folie à Deux yet?
No.
Okay.
You don't have to. Society literally only works if you care about people you have no idea who they are and will never meet. That's the only way it works, right? If you don't, then it's more of a winner take all type thing, and then we just kind of revert back to our villages, and then roaming warlords and feudal states and stuff like that. But if you like living in a society, you like having like roads and policemen to keep you safe, and like coffee shops, and you like going to restaurants existing, trusting that restaurants won't make you sick and kill you, and if they do make you sick and kill you, that there's legal repercussions for something like that to happen. Just the millions of little things maybe you take for granted for living in society. All that shit is built on the building blocks of caring about someone that you will never know and never meet, and ensuring their safety. So, try caring. I don't know. It's a good idea. It's good.
I I don't know if you were aware of this, but it was this has been such a really trying time, where we're at. And I literally had in the last couple of weeks, we had a whole week of instruction where the theme was, our essential question for our English language arts focus was why we need government.
Did I pass the test?
All the while,
yeah, they're just
everything was being dismantled all around us. Yeah. Yeah, that was bad. But speaking of fascism, I did watch this trailer, and I think this is actually something legitimately to be excited about. Andor is coming back. And that also, I think, Andor, when it came out, I think part of what made Andor great was just like how eerily relevant it was to our times. And little did we know, it was so relevant that it was actually kind of preparing us for the era that we're currently in. And then for it to come back right now at this time. Also, I thought it was, interestingly enough, we didn't mention this, but I think Alexis may have done that in one of our other shows, but like there was an interview with Brady Corbet, the director of The Brutalist, who was saying how while he was preparing The Brutalist, it was during Trump's first term, and that hilariously or ironically it came out right at the beginning of Trump's eventual second term. So and also just again, the election is such a big pivotal moment that we can't really we can't shy away from it, because obviously Hollywood is not. They're embracing it wholeheartedly, and it actually, Mickey 17, you could make an argument that they thought the election was going to go a different direction altogether. If you watch that movie with what happens with the stand-in character played by Mark Ruffalo there, and we'll get to that in a bit. But Andor, I'm legitimately, I think that may be it for me this year, where I'm just like, yes. You guys, come on. You both love Andor.
I'm very excited about Andor. That's one of the things I'm most excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to. like if we're talking about like TV shows and movies, I was very excited for like Mickey 17, Andor.
By the way, I hear Incredible is doing really well this season. Invincible. Sorry, Invincible.
Oh, Invincible
is doing
Invincibles
great this season.
Is an awesome season.
I haven't seen it yet. I know. I gotta for sure do that. But
I saw a clip of the recent episode and I was just like, oh my god, they continue to top the whoa moments.
What's really cool about it is it's a creator just going back and like sort of taking a second draft and being, it's still very much the same story, but he's like, let me clean out the wrinkles a little bit. Let me add this here and there, just to round it out, make it a little bit better. And so far, it's every decision so far that he's made to sort of do that, I think has been the right one, and it's been really awesome. And it actually ends on a tease for a storyline that he never did in the comics. So it's going to be something brand new, original that I think he wants to either do next season or keep it going. So that's really cool. I like that. I think that's fun.
Nice. So yeah, that's definitely something there. And I know that right now, we didn't talk about it enough because I didn't watch it probably, but you guys all seem to love The Penguin, and it got a lot of awards. The Penguin
was great.
It got a lot of awards.
I think it was. Watch it.
I think it was was it the Screen Actors Guild Awards or the Critics' Choice? But Kristen Milotti and Colin Farrell won for Penguin.
Would have been surprised if he didn't. Colin Farrell, at least.
Well, yeah.
Knowing you probably won't watch it until the Batman Part 2 comes out, if even then. But it's good. It's really, really good. It's exactly the thing I've always wanted, and I've talked about a lot, where it's like, tell stories about villains, right? Like, they're a protagonist. Your protagonists don't have to be good people. They just have to be interesting people, which the Penguin very much is. And I'm not gonna. I think honestly, again, not to shit on Disney and stuff like that. It might be the thing that's sort of keeping me from like going in and watching those new episodes of Daredevil.
I was about to say,
yeah, I figured
that's happening right now.
First, you bitch. Because just the noise from it's just like it's okay, it's pretty good, and it's like. Yeah, but the Penguin was great. and
the original Daredevil was great too. Yeah. So I think that's always to me been the biggest problem, is that we have seen Kevin Feige fail repeatedly at being able to come up with a good enough continuation of what came before. Usually it comes with a fuck up or two, so don't hold your breath on that just yet.
That was my issue with MCU Spider-Man the whole time, where it's like, I've seen truly great Spider-Man, so like, yes, it's like,
and there has been truly great Spider-Man since the MCU, so
they
continue to do it, but of course Kevin Feige cannot. And I just knew, the original Daredevil series was like magnificent. There's a reason why it is beloved.
Oh yeah.
But I just cannot believe people thought for half a second that they were capable of mustering anything that was close to it. But no, ideally in a vacuum they should. But this team has repeatedly proved they're not up to the task.
Well, they did the same bullshit that they did with literally everything else in this phase of Marvel, where they
which phase are we in?
Again, who knows?
Doesn't matter.
It does not matter. Where they made something, realized by the time they were basically finished, oh, it's kind of shit, and let's just let's fire everyone, start over again completely, massive reshoots. And it's like, yeah, this is a good sign of things, that you're doing this with literally every single fucking project you're making. Absolutely insane. And they did it with Daredevil. That's how I knew. I was like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. It seems like it's good considering
the circumstances.
What it went through, the circumstances. But you're the biggest goddamn company in the world. Like, we should not be getting good despite the circumstances, especially with every single fucking project. Every project you put out there should run as smooth as butter, right? And by the way, we know it can happen because look at James Gunn.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Well, yeah.
When he works for them, when he made Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, oh yeah, have a script. The script is good.
Have a story. Have characters. Have an arc. Have themes.
Yeah.
Have any kind of motivation to move forward in any way whatsoever. Have it not look like shit. Have it actually build something, from the ground up, and have it have heart. Damn it! No, they can't have any of that.
But the thing is, when he makes movies with them, it's so easy. It's like, yeah, I got the script. It's done. Now we're gonna film it. Filming went well. We shot the script. Maybe we'll do like a week of reshoots, just some pickups, but it's all done. And then it's out next year. Like it shouldn't be this hard to make movies. Like I understand making movies is hard. It should not be this hard. Like the fact that it took them like half a goddamn decade to come up with a Blade script. Motherfucking Blade.
And everyone is just like
happening?
And I was just like, it's Blade. He kills vampires.
You're overthinking it.
What else do you need?
He walks in, says a cool ass phrase, and then stabs a bunch of vampires. That is the whole goddamn movie.
Mm-hmm.
Karate, kung fu, smacking vampire. That's it. That's fucking it. It should not be this hard.
The one time where the action is like the way they make movies and like the way they do the action stuff would actually work in their favor, and they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas,
I mean, to me, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just like, because I should explain it better, but like basically, how we mentioned before, like the directors, they don't do the action, someone else does the action and all that, and it's always cut like that. Basically, it's just like character stuff, action, and all that. It's like it never transitions.
It doesn't
well.
feel like it's one voice.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's one voice. It never really transitions well and all that. But also when it does transition, like it's just abrupt. It's just they go for it. This would actually work in their favor with Blade, where it was just like have someone write little moments and just make sure the background makes sense so that we can transition well. It would actually work in their favor, but they can't do it.
It's not like he's against like big battles and shit like that. Like you don't need all this green screen. He's in an alleyway. Mm-hmm. He's in a nightclub. Like it's not bad. It's not hard.
Yeah.
They did it in the 90s. Guillermo del Toro did it in the 90s with a box of scraps. Remember Shang-Chi? Remember that was a character?
Mm-hmm.
They made one movie, it was a hit, and they did nothing with him. Poor Simu Liu.
Yeah, that was...
Give him consistent work.
Nope, they couldn't even do that. Oh boy, that was a lot right there, and I don't even remember what I was going to say myself. Well, actually, it says a lot though that I just recalled that Grace Randolph called this not a very good show, and then also, and that's saying a lot, and then also, this is running behind Agatha all along in
as far as
viewership.
Rating. I think this is just they're over it. Like they're Kevin Feige fucked up. Like
there was a story, it was a headline 2 weeks ago where like the roof caved in on a random movie theater where they were playing Captain America Brave New World, and that there were only 2 people in the theater. Well, that means nobody got hurt.
I don't know if we even talked about it in here. It got a B cinema score.
We did mention it. We didn't focus too much on it. But yeah,
you mentioned the cinema score?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, so we didn't. Okay. But that's I don't think that's actually how people feel necessarily. I just think people are over it. Like they need. I think that's more of sending a signal. Like again, I feel like if that movie had come out phase 2, phase 3, because there are movies of that, I would say, quality, like Captain Marvel, like the fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp. Well, but yeah, I think people are just kind of tired. They're over it. They're done.
And I don't know how much more they're gonna like what's coming up. You showed me the comic Secret Wars, which was actually like, whoa, this is a big fucking story. And then the whole time we were talking about it, like, oh, they don't have a prayer because this doesn't make like.
It kind of reminds me of what they've been doing lately, where they're taking these really awesome stories. Before they would take, stories from the comics, and it's like, oh, but they do a pretty good job of adapting it. It's its own thing, but it kind of retains the heart and stuff like that. Like Civil War was pretty cool, and just other comics, or even like Infinity War, and it's completely different from the comics to a certain extent, but they do a lot of cool shit with it. They take here and there, and pretty good adaptions. But they've been doing adaptions, and it's like, oh man, you guys kind of fucking ruined it. Like, and it sucks because these are really great stories. Like Secret Invasion, I don't know what the fuck that was.
Well, David saw it. You want to tell us what that was? Do you know what the fuck that was, David?
I can't even explain it.
But to the B cinema score you were saying, Peter, I have to imagine that has a lot to do with the really bizarre trailer they cut that David referenced earlier in the show, with the whole indie angle.
No, that's Thunderbolts.
For Thunderbolts, yes. So they cut a trailer highlighting some of the actual names they brought on board. I'm wondering what was behind that. What this seemed bizarre for them to do that.
I think maybe they feel that's sort of their selling point with the film. I think they feel that they've been hit pretty hard on that they just make shitty slop. And I think they're trying to say, like,
which they do.
It feels weird, but it kind of feels like they're going like, no, this is a good one actually, though. Like, it was actually made well. Like, it's actually a film. I think that's them kind of trying to signal that, which maybe they're right. Like, they do have pretty good talent behind it as far as the writers and the director and stuff like that. And it's the one movie, because we talked about like Daredevil, Captain America, definitely Secret Invasion, and all these other projects. Just the mountain of bullshit that went on behind the scenes. I haven't once heard of like issues with this movie. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh man, it's not coming together. We have to rewrite the ending, or they didn't have a full script going in, or this and that. And I haven't heard any of that with this movie. So maybe internally they're like, no, we actually have something pretty good here. Let's signal that in the only way we know how, by like saying like it's like A24, right? A24 signals quality. This is quality. We'll see. I'm not excited for the movie, but I will admit that so far, a lot of it doesn't seem to have dealt with bullshit the same way a lot of other properties have. I don't know.
I mean, we're in March, and already Marvel has had expectedly 2 misses, 2 out of 4. So yeah. We're just gonna continue that decline.
They're filming their big Avengers films with 2 directors that just had like the worst movie ever come out.
Yeah, well, the worst 3 or 4 ever come out. I do not the Electric State. Well, yeah, that one just came out and it was like got terrible reviews, and that's what you meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And I mean the far worse one. I stopped watching Russo Brother movies after Cherry, which nobody saw. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's with Tom Holland. It was probably the worst movie I've ever seen.
Watch the Electric State, because apparently everyone disagrees. They say that one.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I think the Cherry was kind of an embarrassment more than that, but we'll see about what.
It was written by Christopher McFeely.
Chris Marcus and McFeely?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, here we are again. It's like, what? I mean, you have to really think to yourself, have they just lost it? Which, by the way, happens.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to people.
No, yeah, for sure it happens.
They lose it. So like, is this?
We've
over?
talked about this. People in Hollywood will make one incredible film and then coast on that shit for like a 20 to 30 year career in Hollywood. They make nothing good ever again, but they're consistently employed. Well,
where again? Where is he?
He's counting his money. Good for him. As far as I'm concerned, stay seated in that mansion and keep counting.
Yeah.
Your services are no longer required, JJ.
No,
basically is what you're saying.
No.
I know we've gone long on here, but I didn't want to. We haven't really talked about Andor too much, but I feel like it's an incredible cast. I'm excited for what we may potentially see. I know we're gonna get Orson Krennic back into the show here with what's his name, Ben Mendelsohn coming back to play him, so that'll be cool. What I love about this Star Wars show is that we're not talking about like who could show up, more about like what it actually means. Andor was a moment in our lives because it was something actually substantial and rich with commentary that was poignant and spoke to the times that we lived in. And I feel like they're going to do that even more so with this second season. Is there anything that you're looking forward to specifically this season that you're most excited about?
Mon Mothma's character, because that's like, because I mean we already know what's going to happen with Andor either way. Because of Rogue One. No, she doesn't.
Okay. Spoiler.
But she's the one that like we don't really know much. At least like if you only seen the movies, you really don't know anything.
If you read the novels.
No, yeah, I was gonna say. So it's really cool to see her in this. Everyone else, I mean, I'm just excited to see them back again, see where it's gonna go.
It's gonna be. I think what's gonna be interesting for me is, in the beginning of Andor, you could tell they just took these characters and they're like, we're telling our story, right?
Yeah.
And because of the point within Star Wars canon where they're telling that story, they had so much freedom, right, to do with what they could with those characters. Now they're getting into issues where, you know, the Star Wars nerds are gonna where are my glasses? Are gonna be pissed if like actually that's not how this event went down in the comic and shit like that. Because from what I understand...
By the way, I wanted to point out, I found it funny how Daredevil had a lower debut viewership than The Acolyte last year. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I you know what? Wokeness strikes again. So to me, I think that's just going to be interesting how they play within canon. Because I already know that there's a specific event I guess they're going to show that's pretty big within canon. Mm-hmm. We know that when Mon Mothma... It's again, the Mon Mothma has a whole thing in Rebels, right? Where they rescue her, basically, when she's like no longer able to remain within the Senate, and she gives like this big massive speech. It'll be interesting how they play around with events like that are kind of very much cemented. But the cool thing about this show is the thing you're looking forward to is the characters and the dialogue and the storylines and how all of that intertwines. It's not which character from your childhood is going to get up and do something. Like when I see Krennic, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. That makes sense for him to be there. Every character that they're including from like wider Star Wars canon, I'm always like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. There's probably a good story reason for why they're there and stuff like that.
And there is usually.
Yeah,
like,
there actually is.
Being in there. Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, oh my god, he was so great in that first season.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. And I think Tony Gilroy, right? He's the creator.
Yes.
I'm sure after like the really awesome response he got from the first season, he felt comfortable just being like, all right, like I'm making it my own, like I'm going all in, right? And especially because they changed it from like 5 seasons to 2 seasons, which at this point I'm kind of happy they did, because I don't know if they would have renewed it to get the full 5 seasons. I don't know if we would have seen those full 5 seasons. So fuck.
Probably not.
I don't think
Probably
so. But then
not.
also because of how Andor's story ends, I feel like it's best not to like prolong it too much. You know, it's just kind of like best to keep it short.
Well, see, what's funny is the coolest parts about Andor are like every other character. So it's like going into Andor, I didn't know we would have something like Andy Serkis's character, right? But for those 3 episodes, it's like I'm all in on his story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of thing that I like about that show. These characters that you wouldn't even guess, and sometimes they're there for an episode and then they're dead, but it's like, oh man, I really care about them. I think this is interesting within this world. That's the thing that excites me about the show, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the last good thing from Star Wars for a while. What even are they done making Star Wars shit? Like, what's
Mandalorian is still.
Oh, the Mandalorian and Grogu, the movie is coming out. Aren't they filming that already?
I don't know.
I could have swore that's like the next movie thing they're doing. Are they doing the next season first or the movie first?
I think it's
they doing another season?
I don't think it's a season. It's just a movie that's gonna like end that.
So was the last season the last season? Was it the last season?
I believe so.
People don't talk about it that way. I don't know. Maybe they probably don't even know themselves.
I don't think anyone knows. Yeah, I mean, remember they announced the Rey movie. Was it last year?
Yeah,
and I don't think we're gonna.
That's
get
not happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, would any of you like to bring anything up that we haven't talked about? That's been you've been itching to kind of get off your chest about like what you've been doing, or what you want to say on any of like the movie stuff happening. Like you thought that was cool or that's bad that we can talk about.
There's gonna be a Criterion 50% off sale.
Okay.
Tuesday the 18th.
Good to know. I saw Flow is going to get one Criterion release. Has it already been available for pre-order or no? Has it?
I don't know if it's for pre-order yet. I think it's just announced.
What were the recent titles that were brought into?
The most recent one is fucking you know that William Friedkin film?
Yeah.
Sorcerer?
Yes.
That was the one that I was most excited for.
I saw Apple's not letting Criterion touch
Oh yeah,
Flower
I was
Moon.
gonna send that to you. They literally offered. They tried to get in contact with Apple, like, please let us release this, give it a Criterion release, The Killers of the Flower Moon, and they were like, no. Which even Netflix will allow Criterion releases. That's how I'm gonna own the Electric State, but
The what?
the Electric State.
Oh, I was like, huh.
But yeah, that's complete and utter bullshit. Oh, I found The Wild Robot on 4K, the El Centro Walmart. I have to just go to go to that Walmart now.
Mm-hmm.
That one has the better selection of films. I'm trying to think. What is movie stuff? I feel like we talk about everything. What about you, David?
No, I can't really think of anything, and I'm really excited about any upcoming movies.
That's the thing. There's so few things where I'm like, oh man, I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to check out Sinners because I love Ryan Coogler, and vampires, ghouls. Hell yeah, I'm down. After that, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I just when it comes to movies, I'm just not that excited about anything. I really got to get off of YouTube to kind of.
You just watch a lot of YouTube?
I just watch a lot of YouTube, yeah. But like YouTubers who talk about go broke people is what I keep watching, basically. Yeah.
Is that why you have that Trump hat?
But yeah, no, yeah, movie, anything. I got nothing. Everything else though, video games and stuff. Like,
what video games you playing?
I just got the Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. The one that you playing?
Barely.
Yeah, I just barely got it.
Barely.
Yeah, but I'm playing it, and
is it good?
It's really good so far. I really like it. And then also like that. The goal, I mean, obviously, is to save Hyrule and everything, but also is like trying to catch up with Link and all that.
As a girl.
Yeah, and then I'm finally bought Magic the Gathering cards for the first time.
Have you ever been into it, or are you trying to get into it?
I'm trying to get into it. Me and Ale.
You don't.
Good.
Ale too?
No. Ale and I got into Lorcana, which is basically like Disney's.
Oh, the Disney version.
Yeah.
I've seen those cards.
Mm-hmm. So we got into those. We were playing. Here and I were always playing together, but like Sergio was always the one that was into Magic the Gathering. And the first time we played Lorcana, I was like, I'm really liking this. Maybe I should get into Magic.
Here's the thing. I try not to get into things that are seemingly a money pit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Funko Pops?
Yes, like Funko
or
Pops.
Posters.
Well, it depends which posters.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like Warhammer.
Oh, dude. No, yeah.
You know how like those like
figurines,
the figurines and the paint and like it looks like a lot of it. I've looked at some of the lore and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And some of the figurines are cool, but then I'll see people talk about like, oh yeah, like the cost and everything, and it's like, no, I can't get into. I can't get into something.
No, yeah, Warhammer is something that I would not get into for sure. Magic and Lorcana is like something I don't mind getting into it because it does look fun and all that, but also like it's just small. I don't think it's gonna take up a lot of space. It'll take up my money for sure, but I don't think it'll take up a lot of space. And part of the reason go ahead.
I think like video games too, like those like pay to play video games where it's like,
oh,
if I'll put it this way, if you can buy skins and there's like 100 skins, I can't get into it because then I'm gonna want the skin. So it's like it's best to just not even play it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that I get. And part of the reason why I got to Magic 2 is because they announced a crossover with The Last Airbender, and I was like, thinking that was a good time for me to like learn how to play it, and then I can be prepared for when that comes out, because it comes out in November, so I still got like a while. But I got a Doctor Who Magic the Gathering card set.
Are you? Oh my god!
Yes,
you stupid son of a bitch.
So
disgusting.
I got that one for the first one, and then I'm hoping to get the Spider-Man. I think that one they're doing a Spider-Man crossover, and that one's I can't remember when that come out. Should be soon, but I want to get that. Oh, then hopefully by then I'll probably learn enough so I can be prepared for Last Airbender.
Did you see what the theme of not the theme, but like the story of the new animated show is?
Yeah. There's something that we can be excited about. TV.
That's pretty. It's interesting. It's like
any animation in Avatar, I'm up for. Yeah. I don't care what you do.
The animation is the good part.
Yes, that's the good part here.
I guess they're going like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
And it's twins. And one of them is the Avatar. And apparently the world is post-apocalyptic due to everyone blames it on the last Avatar, aka Korra.
Yeah.
Korra did something to end the world. At least that's the way the whole world sees it.
Mm-hmm.
So like being the Avatar isn't this highly regarded thing. So I can't remember if like they're on the run because they are the Avatar, or like it's like a negative thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's gonna be like sort of the central mystery of like what happened. I assume.
Yeah. I don't think in the synopsis they actually say that Korra caused it or anything like that. I know they think Korra.
That's what I'm saying.
Korra caused it.
It's a belief within the world.
Okay.
That Korra caused it, but it could be, it's a whole mystery and they're looking for the truth, and it's like, no, she didn't actually cause it.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to stop it or whatever.
David, it's the same thing as like people believing that Biden increased the price of eggs. It's a widespread belief, but it's not really real. That's
he pressed the increase egg button.
Although what is real is that Trump did increase the price of eggs, and here we are. But
well,
anyway,
to be fair, everything's in free fall now.
Also,
and again, to be fair, there's one person. Well, no, there's one person I think to blame more than others. David, you were going to say more about this?
Within the Avatarverse, they are making a video game.
Okay.
And that one's I think they said it takes place 3,000 years before Aang. And I think they're kind of going through like an ice age of sorts within that time. And it's the Avatar who starts off as a firebender, trying to put the world back together and also learn the other elements. So that's something else to be excited about. Oh my gosh. At least in the Avatar world.
For sure. Yeah. Anything involving Avatar, I think it's always it's animation. Avatar will be welcomed with open arms.
I'm excited for the blue avatars.
Oh yes, of course them.
Those
yes,
are coming back.
That's James Cameron, right? Fire and Ash. I love how there was this recent.
That's next year, isn't it?
It's this year.
Oh, is it this year?
It's this year.
I thought it was 2026. Okay.
No, it's this year. It better
like
be
December,
this year,
right?
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm excited.
That's why. I mean, it's going to be an interesting winter because they have to juggle the main all the distributors because they have to juggle Avatar
What are
3,
even the big movies?
Wicked 2, and then there's one more in there. There's one more in there that I'm forgetting that I'm not.
Superman?
No. Something else that I'm not. It's not registering, but there's one more big one happening around that time. But I know Wicked and Avatar are a big part of that. So I want to say it's like an action-oriented one. I think. I don't know. I can't think of it just now. But I was actually just reading some of the reactions for Snow White as you were talking about, Peter. So and they've been overwhelmingly positive, hilariously.
What a surprise!
And they called Rachel Zegler a supernova.
Okay.
She's always been great. I've never seen her bad in some. It's not like she's been in a lot of movies, but like she has a great voice, and I think she's a really good.
No, yeah, she seems to go like above and beyond for the roles and all that. At least from what I've seen, I didn't see that Hunger Games one, but from what I've seen in clips, like she does really well in how she sings and all that. So
I want to see her in a good movie.
I know.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
Okay. You have seen her in a good movie.
Chill, relax. Okay.
You have seen her in a good movie.
I mean, one that everyone else watches as well.
You mean the one that got 5 Academy Award nominations and actually got 1 Academy Award win?
Like I said, the one that everyone else watches as well.
Yes, okay. If you win an Academy Award, I would assume more than one person watched it. Just putting that out there. Not very many people. Not very many people, but some people.
As if they watched the movies they nominate. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Fucking West Side Story was like... Didn't get much, but Wicked won 2 and Emilia Perez won 2. Anyway, I think this is a good time to, unless we should switch over to the Academy, but David, you actually have there are some small movies we should actually like give some attention to. For instance, how was Novocaine? By the way, between Novocaine and Companion, Jack Quaid is like really over delivering, and I feel like he's one of those people that's like a really good presence. He gets the job done. He's great, I think, legitimately for Jack Quaid, but he doesn't overstay his welcome for some weird. He's been in the eye for a couple of years now between The Boys and some other smaller things, but this is the first time I think he has like 2 movies out at the same time. Novocaine and Companion, and I think from what I've seen anyway, that was a trailer I actually enjoyed. Novocaine.
He's consistently entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
he's someone that I think could easily be annoying who never is.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. I think he's really whenever he's in something, he's one of those actors I'm like, oh, awesome, neat. Like, I like seeing him there. I think he's always real good. So yeah, how's Novocaine? That one got good reviews too.
No, yeah, it was fun. I mean, what you guys said about Jack Quaid is like, it's basically what I feel on this one. Like, he's really funny in this. It's not over the top or anything like that. And you got some good action scenes. I think really my only complaint is just like, there's some basic stuff that you can see coming within the story that you're kind of like, yeah, okay, well, fine. But Jack Quaid, he's a standout, so like he kind of makes it entertaining as you go along and all that. So yeah, Novocaine is good. I can't remember what I
want to see it for sure. How was Companion? Because we liked it a lot.
Oh yeah, I for sure like that one better, mainly because I think it just had like a better storyline.
Yeah,
and just like in terms of like both of them using their premise well, I think Companion did a lot better in terms of like adding in suspense and all that. I think that was one thing too.
I think the way it doles out information is really fun. The editing of it, of like how the characters start and where they end, and what information is given to the audience versus not given. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It very much feels light on its feet, not lightweight. That's different, but like it does what you think it's gonna do, but then it also is clever enough in its screenplay to like pull some things in a different direction. And I feel like it kind of like it doesn't overstay its welcome either. Companion, it kind of just like goes and then it ends where it should end. You know, it didn't feel like it went on more longer than it should have. And Jack Quaid is deliciously stupid. That character in that movie, where it's consistently funny. What a dumbass! Like, he may be a bigger dumbass than Iron Fist, and that's saying a lot.
And they look similar.
Oh, God. I didn't even make that connection. That's funny.
But then also with Companion, though, I like with Jack Quaid, I really liked his like villain moment, like his villain origin story, like in the middle of that movie and all that. I thought it was just hilarious when it happened. But yeah. Also with Novocaine, takes place in San Diego.
Interesting.
So there's two specific jokes about San Diego that I was cracking up, and everyone else in the theater too was also cracking up
because you live in San Diego.
Yes.
So yeah, that's funny. I that one I want to make sure I catch for. But Peter and I also had the opportunity to catch something. I think that was a rarity. Apparently, this was the very first fully animated Looney Tunes movie to ever hit theaters.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any other one. Not that I can think of that
obviously
exists.
There's the short films, but those are short films.
Yeah, there's a short film.
And then the other ones have been like, they've had animation, but they've been hybrids. You have your Space Jams, the two, and then you also have Looney Tunes Back in Action. And I don't know what other one I'm forgetting, but anyway, it was a treat, I will say, and for a lot of reasons. To see a Looney Tunes film, to see one that was featured so heavily on Daffy and Porky, and of course it being 2D animation, and it was hilarious. I gotta say, I had a blast. Like, I don't know, I feel like it delivered on what it I think promised on being. And I think it was just kind of like, it felt like one of those things where like, wow, I can't believe we're actually watching this, because this was going to be deleted probably. Peter, your thoughts?
It's a lot of fun. Well, I told you when I saw it, it felt like a movie that would play around the clock on Cartoon Network growing up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like. It feels like I've seen this movie before. Like in another version of reality. It's like, oh yeah, I grew up watching the Looney Tunes Alien movie. And just those memories of it. It's a lot of fun. The animation is beautiful. It's like, it really hit me when it started. It's like, oh wow, like I'm watching
2D
because
animation.
I'm so used. And I think it's the type of animation too, because I've seen a lot of Looney Tunes animation, from the old classics up to again, I remember watching like the Looney Tunes show on Cartoon Network, like the one that came out back then, where it's a little bit less loony.
The 2011 one, or from that era? Okay.
Less loony, more irreverent kind of stuff.
There's a lot of Looney Tunes stuff that's been out throughout all the years. Like Baby Looney Tunes, Duck Dodgers.
I used to watch Space Jam a lot because we had the VHS, which is because I never gave a shit about basketball. But I did care about Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, we actually liked Looney Tunes back in action.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a genuinely good one. Joe Dante. But so just to actually watch this animation and these characters on the big screen, fully animated, it was genuinely an awesome moment for me. Like I kind of took a minute to like just sit there and go like, oh man, this is cool. Like this is genuinely really cool.
And it did. I mean, it hit immediately, and the movie was hitting immediately. Like it was like going, and it was just like, this is good. This is good. Like we're in for a good time here, and we were, and it was very sincere. You know, it was like also kind of a thing to point out how much they allow their two main leads, both males, like openly weep and show like affection towards each other, and like, wow, that wasn't canceled. Interestingly enough, they both work. I think, David, I don't know if you care very much for Looney Tunes humor or just them in general, but you love animation. As a fan of animation, this might be something to go see, just to say that, wow, I mean, because again, we don't get too many of these 2D animated movies in theaters at all, and for it to be among one of these characters, I mean, these are big names. Although if you ask the CEO of Warner Brothers, I'm not sure he would know who they are. But, you know, Wile E. Coyote, anybody?
The fact that I saw this movie in a movie theater is a genuine miracle.
Yeah, because Warner Brothers actually did not release this. They actually sold it off to somebody else because they didn't want to actually spend money to release it themselves. So there's that with everything. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on to the Academy Awards. A lot happened, but before, I just feel like it was such a really interesting experience. David, you watched this with Alexis. I watched this with Peter, and I felt like, well, at least I watched the show. It felt like Peter was like, I can't recall too many times where his eyeballs were actually on the fucking TV. He spent most of his time watching me. I felt like I was being watched watching the show.
That is not true.
Because he was going through every nook and cranny of this room. Although I will say, he did do something productive where he actually organized this shelf right here behind me of these movies. And so
you're welcome.
Yes, and I he actually organized it. It wasn't organized, and so I was looking over it, and I'm like, wow, this actually looks nice now. So instead of watching the show on the TV, he was doing this. So
nice.
Although, I mean, Peter will argue that he's actually watching it, but he's watching it like this. I don't know how that constitutes as watching anything, but I guess he listened to it.
The whole show.
Yes.
I could tell you any detail about that show.
Yeah. So how was your viewing experience, David?
It was fine. I mean,
there were no issues in the stream.
No, not really. We saw
because a big story was that people got cut out.
Oh, really?
During Adrian Brody's long speech, apparently the live stream quit. Hulu on some people with Hulu. That was it. It just did not show the end.
I mean,
did we watch it on Hulu?
We did. So we were lucky. We
just
didn't
one
get
of
that
the lucky
issue.
ones where it didn't come.
Okay, I was gonna say like maybe it was for people who like watched it on their television. I don't know because I saw it on my computer, so I don't know if maybe that makes a difference or anything like that. But
we watched it on our TV, and it was on my TV, I should say, not our TV, because I don't want people to get the idea that Peter lives here. Because thank God he does not. Thumbs up to that. But we watched it through the Hulu live thing, and it was perfect. There was no issue. So I was surprised to hear those stories, and because if it happened to us, I would have been like, I would have been pissed for sure. But yeah, do we want to get into the winners or what we thought of the overall show first?
Hey, I don't think we need to get into any of it. I think it's pretty fucking boring.
I mean, I don't have much to say.
Yeah,
overall.
I don't know what to tell you. The winners
Yeah.
are the winners. They're pretty odd.
Yeah.
None of them made me pissed off, but we literally could have told you who the winners were on every major category before the show even started.
There were no surprises.
Yeah, and overall, the show was pretty good.
Yeah, good.
I think Conan did a good job. I think everyone knew that he would do a good job. It's always nice when you have someone who's really talented, genuine performer. Like, he's born to be a performer. But then also
and
kind
likable.
of likable. That can help. But he also like knows movies, you know? So when he talks about him and makes jokes about him, there's sort of an understanding there.
And there were some good ones. There was one that you covered your ears about Carlos Sofia Gascon's.
Well, anytime he talked about it, I was like, oh god, this is too cringe.
The joke about like, Anora set a record for saying the F word for like so many times, but then again, nothing compared to Carlos Sofia Gascon's, I guess, manager when she saw about the tweets or whatever, and it was like, that was funny.
That was great.
Yeah.
I think that might
And
be
later on in the show, he brought on some first responders to deliver some of the jokes that he didn't want to say himself. And one of them was so like, remember the one that they said about Joker 2?
Oh,
What was it? How did it go again? Like, I'm trying to remember
remember.
the specific way that was phrased, because it was, to me, I think it was like the best joke that was delivered. And it was one of those ones that were, I guess it got a lot of groans. Or like a lot of like, whoa, you know.
It was about like
reaction.
losing money, I think, and like the producers of Joker 2. It was something along those lines.
Oh, I think I have it right here. Give me a second. I have the tweets from that night, which was funny to say the least. And it looks like I don't have it. Okay, great. That was nothing. Real quick, I have this from one of our favorite. I believe her name is Megan Cruz, right? Jay Stoops. Is that who we've been including lately?
Jay Stoops.
Yeah, Jay Stoops. You know her. This person.
Oscar thoughts, because I thought I was prepared for any outcome tonight, but here I am sitting here a little bit bothered by the results of tonight, but it's okay. Okay, first of all, thoughts on the ceremony. I've been begging the Academy for years, publicly on this channel, to please give up the cynical, sardonic, ironic approach and embrace a celebration, an exuberant vibe, celebrating the films and the artisans who made these movies, and look at how happy everyone is, okay? And first of all, Conan
I don't know who that is.
Legendary, all-timer of a host. Hell yeah. Nobody made fun of animated films. Conan made a joke about how long The Brutalist was, and that he never...
I don't know who that is.
And that is exactly the kind of humor that I want in my Oscars broadcast. Hell yes, more please. Another notable bright spot, despite Amelia Perez being nominated for 13 awards, which still, Jesus fucking Christ, they only ended up taking home 2. Zoe Saldana won for Best Supporting Actress, which again, I don't think that she was necessarily the best in the category, but she is an incredible actress, and she gave a very moving speech. They also inexplicably won for Best Song, El Mal. It seems that Diane Warren, I don't know what she has to do to actually win this fucking Oscar.
They need to give her a
result in one of the
goddamn
most
Oscar.
bizarre moments of the night when the French songwriters got up there and started trying to lead a sing-along for Amelia Perez. On the bright side, they prevented the director, Jacques Ouidard, from uttering even a single syllable into the microphone. So you know what? It's a win is a win. A lot of the performances were really fun. The vibes generally stayed pretty high throughout. Nosferatu, unfortunately, won 0 awards. That's super unfortunate. But No Other Land won Best Documentary. Now, for the love of God, can we get some U.S. distribution? That's incredible. It's an incredible win. Also, Flow won Best Animated Feature. What is the Academy doing? This is 2 years ago. 2 years in a row that they have awarded the correct choice for animated feature. I am floored. Let's see. Adrian Brody, I believe, gave the longest speech in human history in accepting his second Best Actor award in his lifetime, but he did give an incredible performance, so there is that. But the elephant in the room, Anora swept. Anora won everything it was nominated for. Do I think that Sean Baker deserves to be the most awarded filmmaker in a single night to set the record for Anora? No. To put it plainly, no, I don't. But I also think that's indicative of the fact that the Oscars are nominating a smaller and smaller pool of movies every single year. This is the smallest amount of movies that have been nominated, I think, since 1991. And I think he used his speech to talk about the need for more support of indie filmmakers and small films in general. And I think that that is indicative of this. I think that the fact that there are far less films being nominated because there are far less films getting that kind of distribution and attention is like a worthy speech, and I'm glad he gave it. I still am completely floored that Demi Moore did not win. I think that she ran an incredible campaign, and I think she gave an incredible performance. And even though Mikey Madison is absolutely wonderful in Anora, she's such a talented actress, and she definitely deserves praise. I think it says a lot that as she was walking up to accept her award, the announcer, Nick Offerman, was saying that she's now the 9th youngest actress to win Best Actress. She's 25. The youngest is Marlee Matlin, who is 21. And Timothée Chalamet, if he had won tonight, would have set the new record for youngest man to win Best Actor by a matter of days, just under 30. Adrian Brody was like almost 30 when he won for The Pianist. And I think it's really telling. I think it's really telling that so many much younger women have won this award than young men, and that older women are just not really treated the same way in Hollywood as older men are. And I'm not saying that Mikey Madison doesn't deserve to win. I'm just saying that it was interesting seeing that play out live when the role that Demi Moore is nominated for is for The Substance. Anyways, I obviously have a lot of thoughts about...
So, a lot of things to just refresh ourselves on what actually happened. I would say, like, I agree with the consensus that Conan O'Brien was easily the best person to host this show since at least when I first started watching the show consistently, it was probably 2013. And it was the Seth MacFarlane year. And ever since then, the Oscar hosts, I mean, can you even recall too many of them like that were like memorable? I mean, it was Ellen DeGeneres.
Jimmy Kimmel, Ellen DeGeneres. That's it.
There was Neil Patrick Harris, which I don't think was a very good host.
There's been a couple with no hosts. Right?
And then there was also that one year where they had 3 with Wanda Sykes, who was that other one? I forget, the one that people hate, but I thought it was actually quite funny. The Amy Poehler lookalike. Yes, Amy Schumer. And then of course I think Regina Hall. And there was one year with those 3, and then Jimmy Kimmel like 4 or 5 times. I don't even, maybe 5 times Jimmy Kimmel. Or maybe, I don't know. But easily Conan is the best one easily out of all of them, and if they're smart, they should just ask him to come back again and again and again.
Yeah.
Until he says no.
Some people think you don't need a host. I think you do need a host. I think you need a good host. I think a good host really, I don't know, it grounds the night, I think, and gives it sort of a pathway for which it's moving. I don't know. I think it's good. They should have him back. I think the biggest thing, and I agree, maybe it's a detriment to less films getting looked at. I think it also has to do with the Academy just not fucking watching movies. But I do think I think that has way more to do with it than indie filmmakers not getting their movies out. Because I think what's happening is it's getting more political, and there's consensus films. Because before, you would have one movie win for Best Actor, another movie win for Best Actress. Like, a different movie would win for almost every single other category, you know?
I think the year that I started watching, Argo won Best Picture, Ang Lee won Best Director for Life of Pi, Daniel Day-Lewis won Best Actor for Lincoln. I think Best Actress went to, maybe it was Meryl Streep, The Iron Lady, and then Supporting Actress was Anne Hathaway for Les Miserables, and Supporting Actor went to, I believe, Christoph Waltz for Django Unchained. Do you see how there were all different winners, and now we have sweeps. We just have sweeps because I feel the voters have just gotten so lazy.
I think voters have gotten lazy, and then there's just film sweeps, and then they take everything, right? We've seen that in the last couple of years. And I think that's really the main issue. because realistically, more films are being nominated.
Oh,
than
correction.
back then.
Sorry. I cannot believe I got this wrong. It was not Meryl Streep. It was Jennifer Lawrence that won for Silver Linings Playbook. Sorry, I want to make that correction that year.
I guess it was that year. I don't know. But they literally implemented the Best Picture change, right? More films are nominated today for Best Picture than back then. So I really do think I agree that there's a real problem with getting more indie films and smaller movies in theaters and getting eyeballs on them. But I think that's an entirely separate problem. I think the problem when it comes to the Academy is that they are not doing their job to actually watch these films, and they're kind of just, yeah, like you said, turn it into a sweep every single year. I think some years it's fun when you see really deserving films sweep, but not if it's happening every year, clearly they're not doing their job. Mm-hmm. Not really. It seems like they're just like, oh, everyone loves this movie, cool, I'll vote for it along the same with everyone else.
I mean, it's kind of like a weird circle thing, because like you got so many YouTubers, big YouTubers, even in these media, they'll just talk about the big budget movies, the blockbuster stuff and all that, and it's because they're only talking about that, then you got the Academy voters only thinking about those movies and all that, which then leads to the indie movies or low budget movies to just not get noticed at all, which then they don't make any big hits in the box office or anything like that. So it's just this constant cycle of like people are just not doing their jobs properly.
Yeah, like I feel like when you think about the fact that John Baker basically tied Walt Disney for having the most wins in a single night. Although with Walt Disney, when he won those Oscars, it was for 4 different projects. For Sean Baker, it was for the same thing. Anora won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Editing, and Best Actress. And I think those are not bad wins on its face. You know, having watched Anora, and we'll have a review later on, like I'm not upset about it as I was at the time, because I had not like really appreciated it enough, I would say. But at the same time, there were other people who I feel would have been great winners too, and they weren't.
That's the weird thing with all the ones where it's like, yeah, they probably didn't deserve to win. It's also this thing of like, but they're also really great.
Yeah.
And it's not like their performance was necessarily bad. Like, it was good. So it's this thing of like, I don't think they deserve to win, but okay, right? So like with Zoe Saldana, I agree. She probably didn't deserve to win, but she's a great actress. She probably gave a pretty good performance. Like, it doesn't piss me off, right? What's his name? The Culkin kid. Did he
that
probably
one does piss me off. That one does piss me off because I'm like,
that's because you hate him.
Well, yes, but also, I mean, I feel like what I hate more so is just, it literally came down to, we love Succession, let's vote for you. That's all that it came down to. There were far more deserving people. I mean, I feel like any other person in that category should have won. There are plenty of people that it could have gone to. Nope, nobody. I want to spiral here too quickly here, but here are some tweets from the night that I thought were interesting. Houston Colley, the sheer fact that the Oscars didn't intentionally shit on animated movies this year is already such a marked improvement.
Yes. Animation is cinema.
And then this one was like the most bizarre thing ever. Choosing to interpret this Bond tribute as an act of sustained and collective industry keening for the franchise having fallen into Amazon's hands, it's dead and they're mourning. That Bond thing was so weird.
It genuinely does come off that way.
Yeah.
It was so long. There was no reason for it. It does feel like Barbara Broccoli died or something. Like,
and she was there in the audience.
James Bond himself actually.
It was there in the audience, and of course the performers they got, and I'm like, really? This is the best it could do? You're gonna get Doja Cat to sing an Adele song? Good luck with that.
Fuck you. She's huge.
And I'm going to say fuck you. You know who's even huger is Ariana Grande. And how dare you criticize her performance that night? I got to tell you, that Wizard of Oz Wicked performance was incredible. And you were like, why does she always do runs? Because she can. Because she can.
Every fucking time.
That Somewhere Over the Rainbow was magnificent.
Fuck you.
Oh, and by the way, I found out what that song was in the middle. So they opened with it was all like Wizard of Oz stuff because what happened was
I would assume
it was that song that Cynthia Erivo was singing was called Home, which was from The Wiz.
Oh.
The Wiz being so they kind of connected Wizard of Oz to The Wiz.
The Wiz
to Wicked.
is actually coming out in Criterion too. They announced
it is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's really fun. Yeah.
And it turns out I didn't know that song because I think they had Whitney Houston do a cover of it on a late night show back in the 80s. So, yeah. So they transitioned from the Somewhere Over the Rainbow to Home and then to Defying Gravity, which was like... It was a great performance. Those two were like live. It was great. Mm-hmm. So just wanted to put that out there. More tweets. Conan O'Brien speaking better Spanish than the Emilia Perez cast.
That's good.
And then there were a slew of tweets. Oh, here's another one. Robert Butler III. No disrespect, but the composer of The Brutalist looks like the original 1920s Nosferatu.
He did. I don't know. He did.
And then there was this moment where like Brady Corbet like flat out just kissed him.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of kissing going on with the Brutalist people. A lot of kissing.
Yeah,
those smooches being thrown around.
Also, a lot of tweets in reference to the music selection for the In Memoriam. Very, very weird music for this In Memoriam. Just go with sad acoustic guitar. And then Jack Murphy, what the fuck is this ominous music during the In Memoriam, acting like it's a murder mystery? Clementine,
like they were sending them to hell themselves.
See, they playing this ominous ass music during the In Memoriam, like they're about to resurrect these people. It was, again, it's like this is like a classic Oscar moment where like, what was the thinking behind this choice? And then again, it calls back to recent memory because Peter, I believe the last time you actually watched this with me was the boring ass like 2021 where it was all like in the train station.
That one was bad.
And that was the year they had that In Memoriam where it was all like they had Stevie Wonder for Once in My Life, and it was like this really fast musical chairs version of like the In Memoriam.
Yeah.
So which was better? Which was worse? I can't even. How do you mess up the In Memoriam?
It was a yeah, I think that's the worst Oscars I've ever seen.
That one from 2021.
Yeah. It was lame, it was boring.
But you know what?
I hated it.
I don't understand how people are saying how, I guess mathematically that Adrian Brody had the longest acceptance speech for Best Actor, but what about Will Smith's acceptance speech? That one felt like 1,000 times longer to me.
That one wasn't longer? I guess not.
I felt it was longer. I don't know. And then Demi Moore losing to Mickey Madison is like basically the plot of The Substance. That I knew it in my bones. They were not going to give it to her, even though she was winning before, like all the awards. I knew that wasn't going to happen because, for one, she's older. Two, and it's also the kind of movie that it's from. It's not an Oscar movie. It's a horror movie to boot too, and it's like, that was upsetting. Emilia Perez winning 2 awards. That's the thing also too, Peter, is that your theory of the case is, had it not been for Carlos Sofia Gascon, that night would have turned out very differently.
I think so, yeah. I think they would have swept. I'm not saying they would have won every single category. I guess that's what swept means. But they would have won a lot.
They would have won the most awards of the night. They probably would have won probably screenplay and picture.
Yes. Also the backlash in general. Because there's just massive backlash to the film. Because, yeah, no shit. Why are you nominating this movie Honestly, it shouldn't have been nominated for one award, let alone 13.
Mm-hmm.
Not one was it, I think, deserving of.
And for all the blowback, it still won 2.
Yeah,
it still won 2 awards.
The song one is just insane to me.
That was, just give it to Diane Warren, and then also Elton John is there too. It's like there are better people, and please give it to Diane Warren so we can
give
just stop.
her an Oscar for the love of God. That poor woman.
What is it, like 17 nominations, 0 wins?
2 decades of showing up and getting nothing.
I think it was especially hard for her when Billie Eilish won it twice.
Yeah.
Before she won it once.
I'm sorry. You know what? She has dealt with it with such grace. They're lucky she has not shut up that whole auditorium. I'm sorry.
Did you say shut up? Oh my god. Okay. I was happy to see Flo winning. I feel like something has changed where or has it? I'm not sure. Like, you would think, like, with the fact that everybody in the Academy, maybe it's, you know what it is? I just think maybe the actors and a lot of the other people are not even just they're not filling out a ballot for that category, are they? Otherwise, how would Flo have won, or Boy and the Heron, or even Pinocchio? Because I feel like if all of those actors won, we would have seen easy wins for The Wild Robot, Across the Spider-Verse, maybe even Turning Red. Like, it does not feel like the Academy that exists today, like the whole body is voting for animated movie, because they don't even consider it real, right? Or like, or maybe I'm wrong here, because like you would not expect Flo, of all things, a small, like that might be one of the smallest movies ever to win an Academy Award.
Yeah, I think so. This category has really had a turnaround in recent years. It's really interesting. I'm suffice to say, I'm happy about it.
The last Disney movie to win here was Encanto. It was and the thing, Encanto was 21, Soul was 20, and then Toy Story 4 was 2019. Before then, 2018 was Into the Spider-Verse. But since Encanto, it's been 3 straight years of non-Disney wins, with Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, The Boy and the Heron, and then now this.
Yeah. 3 amazing choices, by the way. 3 amazing choices.
It also would have been amazing if they had gone with Wild Robot or Across the Spider-Verse too. I mean, it still would have been like great wins all around. So like you had mentioned, Peter, that in particular this year, it was a great animated category, except for one sneak, as you said.
One sneak, but the rest, really great choices. That stop motion film, My Life.
Memoirs of a Snail?
Memoirs of a Snail. I really like the direct. I like his previous film, Mary and Max, stop motion as well. I think I've recommended it, or I was going to at one point.
Yes, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
But everything. What was the other ones? I remember them being like, "Oh yeah, no, The Wild Robot, good choice."
There was another one that I can't recall at the moment. Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are all really good choices. And then, another film.
Hey, here's a question. What are the chances at the end of the year they actually include Looney Tunes?
Pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty low.
Because of how little it would be seen.
Yeah. I think of it. Yeah, it's not happening. What are the animated movies of this?
Also
year?
Because of the release date, because like again, Dune 2, I still feel that's the story, right? Like Dune 2,
snubs.
No way. I mean, it won 2 miraculously. I don't even know how. It won like 2 awards, but still it was like, to me that's the big story. Is like, how was that not dominating? It's like at all the whole season. That was insane to me. I don't know what other animated is coming out this year, Peter, to answer your question, but I also do feel like that song from Snow White should be nominated, and I probably won't. Just because I like it so much. So I feel that's good enough reason.
Yeah, fuck you.
Because I mean, as soon as I declared that I liked The Brutalist, it literally just like
it plummeted. Yeah, you piece of shit. You ruined it for that film.
But it won still. It still won. Didn't it win for score?
Score.
Nosferatu ended up winning for scoring The Brutalist, and then it won for actor.
Yeah. Actor, yeah. No, those were good wins. Those were very deserved wins, especially looking at everything else that was nominated for score. See, it's funny. It's always weird when you're like, it was the best in the category to win, but I think like 2 other films that weren't even nominated might have been better. You know what I mean? But that's the Oscars. You know?
Yeah, basically. Anyway, David, I didn't get a chance to have your thoughts. Did you like the show or not really?
Just
thought it was boring.
Thought it was fine. Like you guys said, Conan, he was a good host. I liked his show when it was out and all that. So I was excited for him to host this when he was
Did
announced.
you care for any of the winners?
Not really. I haven't seen Anora. I haven't seen Anora yet, so can't really be excited about that one. Everything else. Yeah, I haven't seen Flow either.
I still feel it was too long. Don't you feel like? I mean, the thing is this: they said that they were not going to have the original song nominees perform, but they still had 5 fucking performances.
That James Bond thing was so unnecessary. I even told Ale, like, I feel like if this was like some anniversary to any other thing, it'd still be weird. Like if this was like, you know, celebrating 20 years of the Harry Potter movies, and it's like, why put this here? I don't understand. So that was honestly was useless.
Yeah, I feel most of the performances were useless. I would say keep the In Memoriam, keep the Wicked thing, because that obviously equals ratings. Everything else, there's no need.
I think it's perfectly fine to just do, best song thing in the beginning. Like have someone perform all the songs that were nominated. And then there, we got that out of the way. Go along with the show. Keep making bits for certain categories, because I like the what was like set design category,
right?
And it was was it Ben Stiller?
Yes.
That? And
yes,
it was a good.
That was a good one. Yeah, so that was a good bit.
Just keep doing that, and you'll be perfectly fine. Don't do that James Bond thing again on any other franchise. Don't care if it's Marvel.
Please,
don't care.
Never
if it's...
and never again. Please don't do that to us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our first review of the night. Peter, go ahead and pull up the letterbox synopsis for Sean Baker's Academy Award-winning movie, Anora, which you and I had the pleasure of seeing on the big screen last week because it won that Best Picture prize.
Anora, directed by Sean Baker. Love is a hustle. Anora, a young sex worker from Brooklyn, gets her chance at a Cinderella story when she meets and impulsively marries the son of an oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as the parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled. Anora, haha. Starring Mikey Madison, Mark Edivishilitivin, Yura Borisov, and just like other people as well. So, Anora. You hated this one at first, right, Alexis?
Hate is a strong word. I think it's
But
a very strong word. I don't know if accurate is enough. I would say that I hated the fact that this was just like winning when I felt there were superior alternatives to put up there. I watched it initially on a laptop, so I don't think those were the best. That was the best choice to do so, because I think it kind of took away from it. I would say obviously so, because having watched it like the second time in the theater, I was like, this is actually very good. This is actually kind of great, even. I don't know. I tell you, it had the same thing with The Brutalist, where I was like, I can't tell you what was wrong, but I didn't feel it first time. Watch it again. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I'm just not in a good mood to enjoy something.
Sometimes.
And then I have to revisit it and get a deeper appreciation for it. But no, I gotta say I was astounded by a couple of different things. The screenplay, Sean was just hitting it. The editing, he himself was just boom, 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 boom. The direction, and Mikey. Yeah, I understand the win. She was incredible. And even it's been over a week. I've seen the film 2 times since. Bought it immediately on digital. Watching it again. And it hits. And I'm remembering extended parts of it where I'm just replaying it in my head. It all came together. The direction, the editing, the screenplay, and the acting. To me, it's just one of the most entertaining films that has come out in the last year. But for as much as it's doing on laughs, there is, I think, an underbelly to it and what it's speaking to that I think really makes it work, ultimately speaking. I thought it was, frenetic. It was kind of, had a great, first, 40-minute section where it was just wow, this is just going, and then it kind of upends itself and it becomes this other thing. I haven't seen the other Sean Baker films like Tangerine or Florida Project or Red Rocket. Peter has, he can speak to those. But from what I hear, it's kind of a grower, because I even was watching some other reviews of people and they were like, this is good. I'm not sure if it's my favorite Sean Baker, but I've since have heard those people say in the months following that it actually grew on them a lot. And some were even calling it his best shot film or his best looking film, at least for that. But I don't know. By the time I finished watching this for the third time, I was really endeared to Mikey Madison and her character Annie, and felt terrible because it's such a banger of a film, but it also has kind of a devastating end. Anyway, it ends up being, I ended up loving it. So I was wrong. You all right. Enjoy you.
Music to my ears.
Where I wasn't saying you. I was.
Oh, okay.
To be clear, I wasn't saying you, although you are usually more right. But I'm just meaning people in general, singing its praises were, yeah, I get it. The wins are deserved. Yeah. You throw it on right now, I'd watch it. It's a great fucking movie. Peter?
I really liked it. I thought it was really good.
I bet you're gonna like it more when you watch it again, because I feel like this is a grower of a film.
Maybe
you like it the first time. I, to be clear, liked it. I didn't hate it. What I hated was just the adulation when there were other things that I thought were a little bit more deserving. Again, I guess challengers and queer don't exist, so
they do not. I think it was a really well-made film. I really liked it. I thought it's so quintessentially Sean Baker to me. And it's so much of everything you've seen in his previous works. So I kind of knew a good bit of what I was getting into. But I think the humor hit in ways I'd never seen in his films hit previously. I think it's a lot funnier than you might imagine. And I think the way they handled I kind of like. I think some people might have an issue that Anora as a character isn't maybe fully defined, right? Like you don't maybe fully know her or understand her. But I kind of like that. I kind of like some films where you see a piece of their story, and a lot of it is
Which
kind
is
of
what
implied.
This is really. It's a piece of the story.
It's really just a piece. It's basically 1 week with the tumultuous relationship between Anora and this Russian rich guy. I like that you sort of see their relationship change and evolve over the course of the story, and I like the way that you can see the way that she changes, right? Like it's very obvious that it's work to her. I don't think, because I saw some people also say like it doesn't make sense because they wouldn't believe that Anora would buy into the relationship being real. I don't buy that at all, though. I think it's not that simple. I think it's a lot of different things. I think she very much wanted to believe in this fairy tale idea of running away with this ultra rich individual, having, living that life, that Cinderella moment. And I think more than anything, she wanted to believe in the way that he cared about her. And I think she let her guard down in ways that she doesn't usually, and she isn't used to, right? And this isn't something explicitly said in the movie, but it's something that you kind of, just spending time with these characters, you kind of see. Because I love that bit at the ending when she's like, aren't we, like, are you just going to let this happen, basically, when they're getting on the airplane? And she's talking to him like they're, have this personal connection. And then the second she kind of realizes, like, yeah, this is it, she immediately goes, it's almost like a reflex, starts talking to him the way she first did, like one of her customers, basically. And the way and the way you just see that change in her and her inflections and the way she talks to him, it's really good. I really like it. You said some people had an issue with the ending. I think the ending kind of makes it, right. It's
I felt a little bit lukewarm on it on first go around, but I gotta say, this is my thing. Last year, I was actually pretty good about being able to watch a movie at any point. This year, though, I've been a lot more busy and like concentrated on a particular assignment at my work. So my capacity for being able to just watch a movie any day, I've kind of gone away from doing that because I felt like I'm not enjoying them as much as I used to for whatever reason. So Anora was one of those where I was like, okay, this is good, but I'm not necessarily feeling it. And that ending also, I wasn't quite piecing it together for myself. What was really the point behind that? It kind of felt a little like, okay, it was me not being able to read what was happening in that moment, ultimately. And then something else happened and I wasn't fully able to engage with it. Although, and what I've noticed is this last year, when I'm into a movie, I want to be living with it. And I don't want to really have anything else like come in the way of interfering with it, because then I want to be constantly living that moment. So for example, when Nosferatu was out, that was a whole week of me just like living with it. Queer, The Brutalist, and like not just like remembering things that happened about it, but actually going and reading pieces and hearing other people's takes about it. I really enjoy that whole part of it too. So with Anora, having seen it now several times over, that ending, yeah, it definitely does make it, because I feel like what's happening there is, and maybe you see it differently, but I feel like from what I've kind of recontextualized, it's just like the whole film is her just no one really cares about her, and no one's listening to a word that she says, and she's always being objectified, basically. And it turns out at the end of the movie, she's trying to, I feel like toward the last 10 minutes, she's beginning to realize there's a part of her that may actually like Yuro Borisov here, his character. Maybe, I'll leave it to you, Peter. I think you could probably say it better than I about what's really happening in that last scene, what really makes the film ultimately.
Yeah, I think it's just more about feeling for the first time within the film as if someone's treating her like a human being.
Yeah,
basically.
And she's so overcome with emotion, she's just broken by it.
And I think that just kind of allows a wall to fall down around her, and she's sort of, for the first time, she feels okay to let those kind of, just the heartbreak of that whole situation come out.
Because there's a lot of moments in the film where she could have, I think any other person would have just fallen to pieces. But at every turn of just like all this terrible shit happening, she's just like, she's a fighter.
She's a fighter. She's a survivor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this one moment, she just kind of allows herself to just let it out because she feels treated like a human being for the first time in a long time, basically. So yeah, I think it's a really great moment, and again, it's a wild, zany sort of adventure that they go on, especially the second half, where they're all running and where a lot of the comedy comes through. But I think that ending is essential because this is something sort of to not laugh off as far as what the character experiences, I think if it just ends on like a LOL kind of beat, it's like no, the way she's been treated by everyone, like she's lower than dirt, basically. And I think she, even if it was bullshit and she realized that it was bullshit, she kind of allowed herself a little bit to buy into it, is that this one individual didn't, the one she married, she could get whisked off, live in a mansion, someone that cares about her, only for it to go in the worst possible way it can. I think for me, that ending really makes it.
No, for sure. I'm trying to see who shot the film. Who was the DP? Because it looked beautiful, honestly. Just the lighting.
Probably Sean Baker.
Maybe. I wanted to let's see here. Some other takes here. Brendan Hodges, who's somebody who I enjoy his pieces, saying that with Baker perfectly capturing the bitter joy, euphoria of youth and the dangers of dreaming, foiled by Annie's fight and tinsel-masked sadness. Whether you see Annie as a trope-trapped cipher or a believable person depends less on the writing than how you read Madison's stunning performance, which constantly betrays the veil of control and the bravado she flexes. She needed her dreams too much not to believe in them. After catching upon months of discourse, I've been intrigued by two lines of criticism that, in some ways, resolve each other. Some complain Annie is smart enough to broker higher pay, but not to grasp his parents' will probably reject her. Will probably reject her. And then the persistent criticism, she remains at arm's length. But these contradictions borne out in and the drama are the windows through the walls of Annie's mind. Likewise, Annie becoming displaced in the last 90 minutes into an ensemble and via Igor, only to re-enter in the head, for me was exactly right. A visual and structural expression to the zigzagging chaos of her night. It works. Easily among the best of the year. P.S. The movie Anora reminded me most was Widows, another pleasurable midpoint between slightly commercialized genre film and the filmmaker's still very them indie art house sensibility, and they both feature 30-minute action quote-unquote focus centerpieces that absolutely rip. You saw Widows, right, Peter?
Is that the one with where it's like crying? Viola Davis? Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, so I wouldn't know like what he means specifically on that one. But yeah, Zoe Rose Bryant called it like a Cinderella story, which it kind of is, actually, in a way. A fucked up version of it.
A fucked up version, yeah.
Yeah. But
it definitely falls along those lines.
Yeah. I would encourage David you to watch it because I thought it was a very, very good movie. And a lot of people actually feel it's his masterpiece. Like, I was watching a reaction to it. I was like, wow, this was a masterpiece. It's like, it's a great movie. I think it's definitely one that rewards repeat viewings. Peter, anything else to say about Anora?
No. I would say just go watch it.
If it were you, which one of its 5 wins would you have it keep? Because I feel like you would have rather had Brutalist win director, or maybe even picture.
Maybe, yeah. Editing, maybe editing.
Editing, I think for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even actress. I think actress is a deserved win. Although Demi Moore, I feel bad. I think she.
That's why I'm iffy. I'm not saying it's undeserved, but it's like.
Because by the way, you haven't mentioned it, but you watched The Substance.
No, not yet. I haven't finished it.
Sorry, I thought you did. Okay, sorry.
Almost.
Okay.
There's like 3 other films I had to watch.
Okay. Shall we move on to our grand finale with Bong Joon Ho?
Let me see. Let me pull it up. Mickey 18. Directed by Bong Joon Ho. He's dying to save mankind. Unlikely hero Mickey Barnes finds himself in the extraordinary circumstance of working for an employer who demands the ultimate commitment to the job, to die for a living. Starring Robert Pattinson, Naomi Aki, Stephen Yuen, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, and others. Mickey 17.
Let me get to a hilarious reaction from Jonathan Fuji saying, "Does not surprise me that Warner Brothers saw this and didn't know what to do with it. Only real ones get it."
The real ones? Are we one of the real ones?
I don't know. Are we?
You tell me. Give me your review.
Mickey 17. Bong Joon Ho is, I think, an international treasure. I've only seen Parasite and Snowpiercer. I haven't seen any of his other ones. I need to get a move on that one. But with just 2 films that I had seen previously, I think he already has etched himself as like just an extension of the word cinema itself. Like, he's that good. So literally anything that he was doing was going to be like, I got to watch it. And that trailer, I actually really enjoyed. And I'm like, and we got a lot of that in this film. I got to say, it is kind of a really interesting film to talk about for a lot of ways. I walked away from it really liking it. I wouldn't say I loved it, because I didn't feel like, oh my God, that was amazing. But I was like satisfied. And I was like, that was solid, strong, good Bong Joon Ho work, you know? And Robert Pattinson was great. The visuals were great. It was like, and I walked away like feeling like I watched an actual movie. So like, I think it's a win. I had some great sci-fi stuff in there. A lot of really poignant and timely social commentary. But I will say to a detriment, because, and this is just, and you know, I think I'm a weird person, and I think I've already expressed it many times. There are just like things that prevent me from enjoying something. I loved Pattinson's performance. I need to go back and watch it again because I really want to watch it again. But I was low key being taken out of the movie because, and it's funny because you can make the argument that like while this was written and being shot, they had no idea and they were kind of like not thinking Trump would win a second term.
Maybe,
nevertheless, throughout the film, because of the dynamic of certain characters, I felt like I could not properly enjoy the movie because of how much of the film, and I you guys saw it too, but I legit felt like I was just watching like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, literally in large extended sequences of the film, and I could not enjoy it. And I was angry, and I was disgusted, and I wanted to vomit. It was great, obviously, how it was handled. Again, this, and I'm speaking, I know people would think, what, Toni Collette is Elon Musk? I don't know, I wouldn't compare Toni Collette to that. I was saying more so Mark Ruffalo and that other guy who really is like his big bootlicker, basically. That's, to me, that was Trump and Musk. And that was getting in the way of me being able to love this movie. I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, I know, you were pissed off the whole time.
So, yeah. Is that where you wanted me to begin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Bong Joon Ho. I love sci-fi Bong Joon Ho. I love zany sci-fi films. They are always great, even when they're bad. To me, it's a little bit like horror movies. Or pizza, even when it's bad, they're worth chowing down. But this was real. I genuinely really enjoyed it. I thought this was really great. I really loved it. Robert Pattinson, he's the man. He gave great performance. I really, really loved what he was doing. To me, sci-fi is great. It's a lot like horror. Horror allows you the space to sort of explore fucked up shit and just take it all the way, basically, to the extreme lengths that they could be taken or how they feel they're taken, right? So it's like when people write, like, I don't know, they break up, they're like, it feels like my heart was ripped out of my body. In horror, you can literally rip someone's heart out of their body, you know? And it's the same with sci-fi. It feels, you know, you can say like, oh, it feels like I'm killing myself every time I clock into work every day. Here, he's literally killing himself every single time he goes into work. Not every single time, but you know what I mean. And it's a great way to explore those themes without that pesky little thing called reality getting in the way, and really get into the emotional aspects of it. and again, you see that with characters like Space Trump and colonization and indigenous treatment of animals. He always has a thing about animals. It's great and it's fun and it's really well done. It's fucked up. Like, the stuff they do to Mickey is genuinely fucked up. And again, I've always had this issue, and it's not directly addressed within the movie. And I get it, because the character's really dumb, and the people very clearly don't give a shit about him. But it's not like the method for which they bring him back, he's not actually coming back to life. Like, he's genuinely dead. Mm-hmm. They're just creating another body and uploading his previous memories into it. But that, like, if you were to create another body... Can I challenge
that a little bit, though? Just to be clear.
Yes, challenge
because this stuff is, like, truly fascinating when they do this in sci-fi. So are they using the same backup of memories to reprint him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly.
From the original scan.
Well, clearly, they're constantly...
they're updating it, right?
They're constantly updating it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because he died, quote unquote. Well, not to give away... Well, no, it's not given away. It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
He doesn't die, but they print out a new one.
Yeah.
I think that's all the evidence you need to know that it's not the same person.
Yes, yeah.
It's just the same memories put into a new body.
And more evidence we know is that they're all kind of varied versions of themselves. They're not identical.
To a certain extent, literally just could have gotten any empty-headed body, put his memories on, and it's technically him, but not really. And that's basically how
it's not
other Mickeys are.
I wouldn't call that immortality.
Yeah.
Because they're dead, right? Like, it's someone carrying on your memories. But me personally, I'd be like, no, I would be dead. Another person that looks like me and has my memories would continue to live. I would be gone. But to me, it kind of works within the movie because this is clearly a seriously fucked up society that just genuinely doesn't care, basically.
Although one that was smart enough to ban something like this, I doubt ours would be as smart to do that.
No, what they would do is they would take death row inmates and create like 500 copies of them and just have them do all the manual labor.
Or labor camp inhabitants.
Yeah, basically. They would do shit like that.
Or just straight up like wrangle up homeless people or capture Palestinians.
Well, they would they would take away everyone's jobs and say like, hey, this is kind of what they do with like poor people, right? And like sending them off to die in wars. It's like, hey, you don't have any opportunities. we'll send you to another country to die, and we'll give you money. It's there's analogs to that everywhere. A lot of people aren't crazy about the third act and how it gets kind of big and sci-fi-y. I like it. I love it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I
have so much fun with it. I love sci-fi.
The creepers are great designs. I like how they were used too. They look beautiful. Like again, it's big, and at no point did I feel like I was like taken out of the effects work. I think it was great effects work.
It was great effects. It was really awesome. Everything is silly and over the top. Is the political commentary on the nose? Yeah.
That's the point.
But that's the point. It's a dark comedy about being killed over and over again as a job.
I feel like, David, one second. I feel like it's like if you don't get it, it's literally it's like Brittleless, right? It's not, there's no subtlety to it. It's like a sledgehammer. They literally have the supporters of Mark Ruffalo in red hats. It's not at all coy with what it's trying to say who this is.
Yeah. I think if they went less weird and less over the top, I would have a bigger problem with that.
Yeah,
because it's like, well, there's kind of, it's kind of lame. It's just kind of over. It's very obvious. There's nothing, but it's very clearly meant to be like a cartoon version, right, of the real world.
A cartoon version of what already feels like a bad cartoon in and of itself. It's like
a cartoon on a cartoon is going to be real zany.
Yeah, I was trying to bring this up. Like, I saw a video someone saying like, "Oh, satire should be subtle and all that." But I'm like, my first thought,
it shouldn't. Who fucking says? Yeah,
yeah.
Never mind.
They want to say that because of the whole political stuff, commentary that it's making and all that. It's like, oh, it should be subtle, blah blah blah. It's like, but my first thought was, name me, like, what about South Park? It is not subtle with any of the jokes that it makes. It is beating you over the head with it, and every single one makes it fantastic. Like, especially these newest episodes. I've never seen like the classic South Park episodes and all that, but I'm pretty sure
those are the best episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, either way though, the newest ones are still great. But then I'm also thinking of what's the one? Average Joe, or what's the one where people in the U.S. became dumb?
I know which one you're talking about. It's oh man, I was talking about it the other day. I'll Google it real quick.
Do you know what we're talking about, Alexis? The one where like this guy who got like frozen, and he was supposed to come out like, I don't know, 20 years later or something like that, but he came out like Idiocracy. Yes.
A movie, Idiocracy. I was like, yeah.
That one. Yeah. I couldn't remember the title.
It's not subtle in the least.
It is not subtle in the very least. And the more time as goes on, people are kind of like, this is kind of getting more and more relevant. What the fuck? and so I hate that idea. Just those kinds of reviews where it's like, oh, it should be subtle, or it's like, I hate that it's not subtle and all that. It's like, no, any satire, any comedy movie, anything that's like making fun of like the either current political landscape or just anything current, again, South Park, when I made fun of how people were obsessed with social media and then made that scene where you're thinking this character was about to commit suicide, but really she just deleted her social media, and then the next day people were crying like, oh my god, I can't believe she's gone. They're like, what happened? She deleted her social media. And it's like, oh, you why did you draw this out? It's anything like, just the current landscape, you beat it over the head of people, but with the right writers, it becomes an amazing thing. So, and some people, didn't like this movie as much and all that, or maybe they just, the ones that I'm talking about are the ones that people that complain about all the Trump jokes that keep happening, and other stuff.
I mean, there's certain criticisms I get. And I think there's a number of things people had issues with here and there. I do think pace, maybe you could say it was paced a little weird. In certain areas. I think maybe you could say story-wise there are some things that are like, does this go anywhere necessarily? Who knows? Like the other character that was kind of in love with
Mickey. Yeah.
With Mickey. It's like,
it really went nowhere.
It's kind of like a one and done.
Yeah. It does. It's like,
even their conversation felt drawn out. Like,
it's kind of a big part of like the second act. And it's like, okay, is this going to go over the third? Not really. So it's like, there are aspects to the story and stuff where I can understand going like, okay, like I get these criticisms completely, right? 100%. And for me, yeah, it's not like Bong Joon Ho's best film.
Yeah.
But I think it's really good, and I really, really enjoy it. But there's also certain things where it's like, I like it in a movie, and it's what is it? What is James Cameron's like, if I want to see it, it's gonna go in the movie. What's the purpose of it? I want to see it. And there are certain things I think in this film where it's like, I get where people are like, I don't know if it's necessary. And it's like, I agree, but I want to see it. So I'm kind of glad it's there. Like, I think people are like, oh, like kind of a drawn out backstory about why multiples are illegal. But like the original creator was a serial killer and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, is that kind of unnecessarily drawn out? Yeah, but I like it. I think it's a fun,
but it's
a
good.
Fun little sequence.
Is it drawn out? Yeah, but is it good? It is. So
It's
I'm not mad
entertaining.
about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Like, if anything, my biggest complaint with the film is I feel like I was promised a 3-way, and it did not deliver. That's my biggest complaint.
I feel like it was gonna get there, and then if some bitch walks in and ruins it, but I think everybody wanted to see it.
Like,
it didn't
talk
happen.
about a sequence that maybe wouldn't have added anything, but damn well everyone would have been like, no, you keep that in the movie. I am very surprised it's not.
One of those Mickeys was into it. Let's just be real. I mean, he was
for sure. Mickey 18, a freak.
Look, it's not easy. It's been done a lot, but it's not, I think, an easy task for an actor to play double, especially when they're on screen at the exact same time all the time. But I feel like that alone is enough to watch this film. And I think it continues to. Maybe this is the one that actually, like, whether or not it's remembered all that much by the end of the year. This might be the film that just like solidifies Pattinson as just like, I guess, the GOAT, if you will, because like he's just delivering like outstanding performance after outstanding performance, and the range. I feel like the last movie I saw him in was The Boy and the Heron. He makes a very memorable performance there. Mahito, of course, the voice that it was the three of us when we did that review, and I think in large part it was Pattinson's voice work there, and of course the voice that he he picked here for Mickey 17. Come on. Mm-hmm. Come on. And the thing that what I like about Mickey 17, the character, is like he's unlike Jack Quaid's stupid ass in Companion. Here, yeah, Mickey 17's kind of a dumb guy, but damn if he's not likable. And that makes all the difference. Like, there's just something about how he portrays that person, that character, where you're just like, man, I'm rooting for you, guy. I'm really rooting for you, guy. Like, I want to see you win. Mm-hmm. And I was low-key kind of amazed that when we wrap around to the end, it's kind of a happy ending. I wasn't in it, kind of, I wasn't kind of I was surprised that where we ended up, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm not opposed to one. I think that's good. Or maybe you feel differently, Peter.
No, I'd say a lot of his films, it's half and half.
Well, the ones that I know did not end happy, like Snowpiercer or Parasite. So those are the ones that I'm going off.
I would argue even Snowpiercer, though.
Kind of.
Snowpiercer didn't they all die?
No, two people live, but it's just
Snowpiercer is definitely more optimistic.
Yeah.
Than it could be, right? It's like the main character finds his humanity, sacrifices his arm. Yeah, the train crashes, but that's kind of like, I think in Bong Joon Ho's mind, that's kind of a positive, like breaking.
That's a victory.
Chains.
That's a victory. Yeah.
But you also have the innocent characters survive, and they show a polar bear. It ends showing a polar bear, kind of insinuating that life survives.
Yes.
And the whole thing was that the snow is coming down.
Mm-hmm.
So life is gonna continue, basically.
Yeah.
It actually is a lot more positive than it could have been.
Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh. And then Parasite, it's kind of like that tug and pull.
Yeah. To me, that's maybe his most cynical ending.
Yeah.
I think, of a film.
Cynical, but then also it's like the way that it's executed. There's enough for the idiots like me that would choose to like be optimistic, and that although that's not going to happen, it's a fantasy.
Yeah,
it's a nice fantasy to have. It's the end of
that's
Parasite.
what makes it so cynical to me. That's like the last shot is just this devastating realization that this dream is bullshit and it's never going to happen. No, yeah. And his other works can be especially considering the source material, they can be pretty dark, the endings. But no, it's to me, it's weird and it's zany and it's fun, but it plays like a good, genuinely entertaining blockbuster.
Yeah.
There
was a moment I was getting concerned because I wasn't sure what was exactly happening. That moment toward the end where we see Toni Collette in the machine again.
Oh yeah, weird dream sequence, basically. Again, I think that's like another positive, right?
Yeah.
It's him sort of coming to terms with allowing himself
to live,
basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he says, basically, in the end.
So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was really good. I really liked what's her name in it. I thought she was really good.
She was in The Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah, she was.
She I know, right? Can you believe that? Naomi Ackie,
yeah.
Naomi Ackie. And I'm looking at her like, oh, man, tough break, right? Nobody watched that, but the last thing that she was in was that Whitney Houston biopic nobody watched. She was Whitney Houston.
She was Whitney Houston, right?
Yeah.
I heard she was good in it. I don't think the movie probably wasn't that good, but I heard she was good in it.
Dang.
Tough break. But she was great here. She's great here. She's shining here in ways, of course, that Star Wars movie would not be able to really allow her.
That's the
to.
thing. She comes off like nothing in that movie because the movie gives her nothing. She just kind of exists there for about 5 minutes in the film,
and then fucks off.
Does she even fuck off? How does that movie end? I'm trying to remember.
I know. I think the less you remember, the better. It's been 6 years.
Yeah. Oh, don't they imply that she's gonna fuck Lando?
No, they don't imply that. People, It's just it's all because of how Billy D talks. That's why that moment.
It's so weird. The whole thing is him. He lost his daughter. She's very clearly set up to be his daughter. Like at some draft, at some point. But then it ends with her being like, I'm just trying to remember. Like, oh, I don't know who my parents are. And he's like, well, let's go find them. What do we take from that? What do we glean from that? It's the same thing with with Finn. The whole movie, he's like trying to tell Rey something.
Oh my god!
And then we're like, oh, so he's in love with her. And then they're like, no, she's actually trying to tell her that he has the Force. And it's like, yeah, that's not what you get from the film at all, though. They're like dying and he's desperately trying to tell her something before they die. Why would his last words to her to be like, guess what? I'm Force sensitive.
Here's the thing.
That's so fucking stupid.
I'm a wizard.
I'm a wizard.
What about you, kid?
I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
Oh, do they not even mention her parents?
No. It's just more so. I think they were trying to set up some sort of spin-off.
They're trying to something set up, like, because very clearly that's the idea. Is like that's it, man. That's such a shit. That's the worst Star Wars movie. It's easily the worst Star Wars movie. I'm sorry, Phantom Menace is so much better. Attack of the Clones is so much better. There's so much more value in those films than fucking...
What value does Rise of Skywalker have?
Nothing. There's nothing good about... There's nothing interesting about it. None of the action scenes are good or interesting. Everything is stupid and lame. There's some cute little puppets here and there. I don't know. I like the little hey guy. That's it. That's fucking it. It's so okay. I don't mean to just keep going off on a tangent.
Go, please.
It's 500 episodes of this. Who gives a fuck? J.J. Abrams, for as much as he's like obsessed with replicating the original trilogy, he's completely adverse to space battles. Everything has to take place in like low orbit. What the fuck is up with that? It's so weird. There's no space battles in any of his Star Wars films. All of it takes place within the planet. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's just weird.
Even that,
it's a weird thing.
When they go to hyper jump like multiple times, they always just end up like in the planet.
In the planet. It's not in space. The final battle is within the orbit of space. It's not even like in the stars, in actual space. Mm-hmm. Why? I don't fucking know. It's not necessary.
Let me ask you this question.
That movie sucks. You want to talk about bad sci-fi?
That movie
sci-fi.
fucking sucks, literally. And I gotta tell you this. I want to ask you this question here. When you consider the extended stuff, like the TV shows, what then becomes the worst Star Wars?
Rise of Skywalker.
Easily.
Nothing
comes close to it as far as like how bad it is.
How genuinely soulless and useless. It's not even funny bad. Well, I guess it is kind of funny bad, but just in the worst ways possible. Just like I definitely think it killed Star Wars. I really do think it killed.
Us. Yeah.
I mean, like, in general, like, what has Star Wars been since then?
Star Wars doesn't know what Star Wars is.
It's just the worst possible decisions made along every line. The whole, like, somehow Palpatine has returned. Like,
putting that recording out on Fortnite.
It's like... The whole thing of like, yeah, your parents are nobody, but your grandparents, your grandfather is Palpatine, which of course Palpatine fucks. And then they try to make it seem it's like, no, Palpatine doesn't fuck. Her dad was like a clone, but he looked nothing like Palpatine. Fuck this movie, dude. It's so bad.
Would it be fair to say this is the movie that's pissed you off the most in the last 500 episodes?
Yeah. I was thinking maybe BVS. But there's things in BVS that I like. It's like that action in the warehouse with good action.
The murder.
The murder's fun. There's things you can hate the soul, but there is a soul in that film. There is no soul to The Rise of Skywalker. It's like, as far as it's beating hard, it's like the ugliest I've seen in a big blockbuster film in forever. It's nothing. It's nothing.
And it's aged even worse.
Yeah, it's a terrible film. It's horrible. It's genuine piece of shit. And yeah, I don't know, like even The Mandalorian has like other shit going on that I can be like, this was well done. This is interesting.
Even season 2 and season 3?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
What about Book of Boba Fett?
Book of Boba Fett, again, there's weird shit and it's funny in there, Like, the fact that Boba Fett's, like, trying to take over a town with the help of, like, teeny bop bike riders. It's it at least delivers on stuff, you know? He rides a Rancor.
David, I'm going to ask you this because you and I sat through 8 weeks of torturous reactions to Ahsoka. What's worse?
I was honestly really thinking of Ahsoka just because I feel like that one just had the most missed potential of what you could have done. And not just because we complained about the actress, but like just story wise, there was so much.
Everything in that show was bad.
Yeah.
Everything. And we sat through 8 weeks of those reactions, and it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was nothing to it. And they were fucking everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's hard, actually. I feel like they're kind of... maybe I would give the edge to the movie, because it was a colossal disappointment. But I think it's close with Ahsoka. Peter, you haven't actually seen Ahsoka. Not that you need to.
I don't need to. Are they doing a second season?
Yes.
Oh, they are?
I think they are. Yeah. And David said that we're not reacting to that. It was like...
What wasn't he making a movie?
Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian and Grogu.
No.
I don't think...
Remember? There wasn't there going to be an heir to the Empire?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what the Mandalorian is about.
No. There was going to be a Mandalorian movie. And then there was going to be a...
Isn't Filoni directing Mandalorian and Grogu?
Filoni. No.
Well, here's the thing, though. If he's making a Mandalorian movie, what the fuck is he going to do? Because he kind of ended
Filoni
it.
is not making the Mandalorian movie. Filoni is making his own movie.
You're right. It says here Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau.
Yeah, The Mandalorian is Jon Favreau's baby. It's not. Remember, he was making his own movie. What was that? Fuck, there was an old story that took place between like episode 4
Heir to the Empire.
5. Heir to the Empire, yeah.
With Thrawn.
Yes, he is doing an Heir to the Empire film.
I could have sworn that that's what the Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be about.
I think
he's going to be that
at one point we thought it was all going to converge together.
Yeah.
With featuring, but I don't think that is what's happening. I think what happened is, based on what I can recall, whatever plans they had for season 4 were scrapped, and they converted that into the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Okay.
And Filoni's was always going to be Heir to the Empire, I think.
Yeah.
But then also, I don't know the timeline anymore because I think they already confirmed Ahsoka season 2. Which I would assume takes precedent.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I know, but that was a terrible, terrible season of television.
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka. We were here every week and we were like, wow.
You did nothing.
They did nothing.
Mm-hmm. It was so fun. I was watching our reactions, putting up clips together. And just the amount of times that we just ended going like, what are you doing?
I can't wait to see that. When is that gonna see the light of day? Those clips you're putting. How many clips do you have put together, by the way?
So far, like 12.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm skipping a few things like our me and Alice's book stuff. I'm gonna skip our Doctor Who reactions just because we only did those specials and nothing else.
They were like a limited thing anyway. They weren't like an ongoing thing.
So I gotta look through all the podcasts I'm on 461, I think. So I gotta go through that all the way till we catch up to Shield, and then that's when I'll start posting them.
Yeah.
The story will focus on the New Republic and close out the interconnected stories that are told in The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and others.
Okay. So it's
supposed to be this big crossover movie with Ahsoka and
So one would think that this would be after
Mandalorian.
Ahsoka
Yeah, it's gonna
season
be
2.
after. I would assume so.
Yes.
But that's why I'm asking, is there going to be another season of The Mandalorian?
I think the season was canceled and they converted that into the movie.
I think I heard that too somewhere. And then that's what I'm hearing too. It's like they're just gonna do that, make Mandalorian Grogu like heir to the Empire story.
Yeah. No, but heir to the Empire is going to be what follows Mandalorian and Grogu. I think what season 4 was supposed to do was help set up that movie, but they took that season and made it into its own movie. But it's still going to be setting up that other movie.
Yeah, no, the big heir to the Empire with Thrawn and all of that is absolutely going to be Dave Filoni's movie because that's been his storyline that he's been nurturing for fucking ever, right? And it's supposed to be this big crossover with Ahsoka and the Mandalorian, and Thrawn is going to be the big bad with his zombie stormtroopers that are going to come in and attack the New Republic, and it's going to be this whole thing. And I guarantee you're going to get awful AI Luke, Han, and Leia that come in and
David, do you remember what was the situation there? Because I know when we ended Ahsoka, Thrawn had made an alliance with the Night Sisters. And so does he legitimately have an army of the undead? Is that what happened?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what happened. I don't know if was depleted when Ahsoka went after him, and all that. But yeah, he basically has an army of the undead. That is so. And then Ahsoka and Sabine are stuck in another galaxy. And yeah, that was pretty much the ending. Thrawn made it out. He's coming back towards, I guess, our galaxy, or original galaxy. Oh, and then
yes.
Ray Stevenson, was that the actor? He was going.
He was recast already. That's why I know they're making a season 2 because they recast him.
Right? Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
I don't even know what the hell they're doing with that character either.
He found some statue of the father, and is.
Oh, that's right.
Going the way where he was pointing.
He did, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I do wonder if, I don't know, I really feel if there's anything that is a valid criticism from the people who usually do not have valid critiques, it would be, and I think where it needed the George Lucas touch the most, this new trilogy, was more of an understanding about where the galaxy was post-Empire and seemingly in this post-New Republic era, because, okay, the First Order came out, all right, well, I wonder if perhaps, do you think it would have been an asset or a hindrance, Peter, if at once upon a time they maybe did actually use Thrawn in those sequel trilogy movies? Not like him being the main antagonist, but him just being a presence in the films to help kind of like bolster where the galaxy is in that time. Maybe they don't even need to use that character, but just they needed more of that.
No.
Because I feel like, for me personally, if you look at Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, you have the makings of a great trilogy. It's just that the third film was so bad, it just shits the bed.
But that's what I mean. It's bad in a way where you almost have to actively try to be, right?
So it's trying to make a good movie. That's what they say anyway. But I legitimately believe JJ was trying to do good, and he was.
That's what makes it sad. This is why it's like, well, maybe if they had included this or done that, like, no, just like the just most bare minimum competent script would have carried 1,000% more goodwill and leeway. But this was bad in ways that are like shocking. It was bad in ways that was genuinely shocking. Like, oh wow, this, yeah. And I'm sorry, I've already seen the way all these people use other characters. I mean, I've seen the way that they've used Thrawn since then, and it's like, unimpressed, you know? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Look at the way they used Ahsoka. Ahsoka is supposed to be this incredible character. She's lame. She sucks. The second she walked away from the Jedi Order, nothing she's been in or done has been good or interesting or really anything. To me, she stopped making sense as a character. Her decisions, the way she acts, the thing. All of it sucks to me. I'm sorry. Like, yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
As we draw today out to a close, is there anything anyone would like to say as far as us? We have now reached the end of our 500th episode.
It's a milestone we should have reached.
And yet, somehow, we did.
Yep.
Somehow we did. Yeah. I'll say that, you know, I always am appreciative of the fact that, and will be, that we've been able to continue to do this because, you know, obviously it has changed. It has taken shapes and different forms. It's moved many times. But it's been like one of the one constant in my life that has allowed me to have this particular kind of social interaction. I have many others, but not like this, where we get to actually come on here and talk about it. And how we talk about it this way, I feel like is, as Guy Pearce would say in The Brutalist, intellectually stimulating. I enjoy our conversations on here. The good times and the bad times. So thank you all for continuing to do this and for the many hours that we have put in, because even though we've done 500 shows, I don't think that number really accounts for the true amount of hours that we actually have put in. This episode included is what? Clocking in at what, 3.5? In true fashion.
3:15.
Yeah. Yep. So, some might say we're only just getting started. It's truly exciting. Maybe the one thing that's exciting in our lives so far is for, you know, with what we discuss, you know, but, yeah, I feel like if there's one thing to end this show on, I do want to ask, just as a bit of a put you on the spot kind of challenge, do you guys have any bright ideas for what the hell we should call this show? Because I don't.
The end.
The end.
Are you saying that this is it? That we're canceled?
Yeah. Should I do something cancelable right now to ensure?
No, let's not. No, that's not what anyone wants.
Okay.
But no ideas for titles, because I don't know what this. What do we call this show? Like, I
David.
Dude, this is tough. I don't know.
Peter, you want to help with the brain power? Because I think we're struggling here.
Oh, I got one. The return of Kyle Lira.
That's funny.
I endorse that one. I like that.
It's funny, but it makes no sense.
It does.
It makes. Is that all you're gonna give us?
What do you mean? That's a great title.
It's a great troll title.
Is there any difference? Great is
guess,
great.
I guess not in your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Kyle will probably call this the dawning of a new era, although it's not, and I'm sure that's been used before. So
yeah, it's like some really solemn, depressing quote we can use.
I got one.
Really?
I don't like it. But Rise of Snow White. I don't know.
Oh God.
But
like, I just feel like it works because Rise of Skywalker. We were talking about that now. That sucked. We know Snow White is gonna suck.
the rise of, I would say the rise of idiocy.
Development arrested.
Yeah, I got nothing else. It's tomorrow already. I mean, I'm sure we'll think of something.
I'm not. So I'm just putting that out there right now. Thank you all so much for joining us here. Thank you for watching and listening. If you have for an extended period of time, I don't know if you are. But I think none of us ever thought that we would make it to this many episodes. And we're just going to continue going until we feel like this is no longer necessary. But I feel like, to me, it has been something that I cherish and appreciate, despite the abuse. Anyway, thank you all very much. Stay under our spotlight for more content and more, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.